Chapter 1441. Part and Take Action. Chapter 1441. Part and Take Action. Underscore the seabed was magnificent with blue, five-colored reefs everywhere. Crimson, crystal corals grew from them. The unknown, marine plants were jutting their tentacle-like leaves and swaying in the water. The scene was mesmerizingly beautiful. The thick blood diluted and dispersed. So many light caves were like eggs covering some warriors and gathering by a coral reef. 3 eels slowly passed them as they didn't know that this place was a bloody battlefield 15 minutes ago. We can't continue this way. This kid will go crazy. We must find a safe area to rest, said Minghong from Audrey's shoulder. Of course, we got a better solution anyway. What method? Audrey's eyes brightened. Leave him behind as bait. We can leave this place easily. He's their target anyway. Once he bursts out crazily, he will attract everybody as they will want to kill him. And we can return to the territory entrance with no rush. What do you think? While he was talking, Minghong's eyes were sparkling as he had to watch Audrey, the God Lord, Minghao, and Shiyan, who was standing in the distance. Currently, Shiyan was standing with Meiji a distance away from the others. Meiji didn't trust them, so she chose to stick with Shiyan. Moreover, Minghong had tried to lower his voice. He believed that Shiyan and Meiji over there couldn't hear him. That's why he suggested such a solution. No, Audrey objected. She almost had no hesitation. Why not? Minghong frowned. Audrey was bewildered and thinking. Her bright eyes sparkled. He saved me. In the sea domain of nihility, without his protection, I would have died a long time ago. I came here with him. If we leave, we have to leave together. I will never leave him behind. Minghong pouted his lips. Women, you lose your mind when talking about love. No, it's not like what you think, Audrey retorted, her voice weak and her face panic-stricken. Do I like him? She whispered to herself. How about you too? Asked Minghong. If he didn't have the power Upanishad symbol tower, I wouldn't care whether he lives or dies. You said the tower is so precious. He has it still. For the absolute beginning original symbol, I have to put up with him then. The God Lord sounded calm and natural, shrugging. If there is a dangerous situation that can affect my life, of course, I will flee. Protecting myself is the most important task to me. How about you? Let's watch for a while more. Minghao looked complicated. Shiyan had the title of the Bloodthirsty Forces Master. As one of the members of the Cortege of 8, Minghao had to serve him dedicatedly. Even if he didn't have the power Upanishad symbol tower, on principle, he had to protect Shiyan. He knew Shiyan carried bloodthirsty's expectation and will. And now, Shiyan had the power Upanishad symbol tower and dark energy. He'd reached the immortal realm too. Gradually, Minghao recognized that he needed Shiyan somehow. It was going to be hard to ditch him here. If you guys decide to go with him for a while more, you guys better find a solution. When he bursts out, we're the first ones who will have to endure it, said Minghong. The other 3 nodded. I'm going to talk to him. Minghao pondered for a while and then spoke. She started walking towards Shiyan. Almost at the same time, Shiyan with his 2 red eyes were striding toward them. Minghao and the God Lord were much surprised. They stopped and waited for him skeptically. Shiyan was pacing to them, thick blood scent hovering around him. The murderous aura was visible like blood flames, layering and shrouding his entire body. Even his long hair looked like it was burning. Blood flames splashed under his every step. His crimson eyes seemed to drip blood at any minute. They were so soul-taking to see. He looked like he had been soaking in blood. What a powerful negative energy field. If this field expands, not only will he lose his mind, but all the creatures around will also go crazy. Minghong screamed in fear. Audrey's beautiful face looked aghast. She had noticed that while Shiyan was moving, not far from him, thousands of fish had become wild, attacking and biting each other. The most ordinary fish was now flesh-eating fish. It was a horrible scene, indeed. As Shiyan's steps arose, her blood seemed to run faster. Shortly, she felt like she was watching an endless sea of blood. She wanted to kill. The more he killed, the thicker the energy from the soul altars and the dead essence chi he had taken in became. This field will become more formidable. The God Lord wore a stern face. I'd experienced this. When Bloodthirsty died, his negative energy field expanded. Our people had attacked each other for more than 10 days. So many people were killed. Minghong was more restless hearing him. Shi Yan's move had startled Meiji too. She stood up and prepared to come close to see. However, as she was around 10 steps away from Shi Yan, Meiji felt her blood burn. The thick smell of blood attacked her nostrils. She could even see blood stains on her body. Meiji had mastered the soul technique, and she had a profound understanding of the mysterious and yet magical features of the souls. Immediately, she recognized that the negative energy fluctuations from him carried some horrible, evil mind technique. It could even affect her. She knew many people would lose their minds under such effects. I think you can see that my situation isn't good now. Shi Yan stopped when he was 10 steps away from Audrey and Minghao. Shi Yan, how are you? Audrey asked hurriedly. Over my endurance, Shi Yan's eyes were still crimson. From Gonfu to Telika, Yerberg, Farlow, the guards of the mysterious Sky Clan, Batum, and I haven't stopped to refine the energy or rest. Constant killing gives me more soul altars and energy from hundreds of warriors. Contemplating for a while, he said slowly, the black hole and the acupuncture points in my body are like a big avenue. Getting so many things on the road, it feels like a delicate weapon receiving too many different kinds of energy. Things couldn't move. So, the refining speed is getting slower. Until now, I haven't even digested Gonfu's energy yet. The negative energy is invading me. They're excessive already. They will reach my head and burst out soon. His explanation was simple to understand. The others understood with heavy visages. He hadn't even digested Gonfu's energy, the first thing he had. The situation seemed really serious. With this tendency, negative energies was going to conquer him. He was going to turn into a bloodthirsty beast and lose his mind completely until he'd consumed all of his energy and died. What do you want to tell us? Minghao considered his words. I need time to adjust my abnormal condition. But I understand that if we linger in an area, those we have killed will become the mark that shows our whereabouts. Shi Yan continuously took deep breaths to keep his mind sound. You guys should continue the journey to the territory entrance. Kill people in your way. The ones you kill will become the trace so that others could track you. You can distract them for a while. Meiji and I will leave now. We will part, and I will take the chance to adjust my abnormal conditions. You want us to be the bait so you could have more time? Sneered the God Lord. Without us, you're still going to the territory entrance, aren't you? Shi Yan wasn't mad. Moreover, I know that they are certain about Meiji and me. They don't know your existences yet. Thus, you're safe. Even if someone catches you, they don't know you're their target. What I want you to do is to kill them, whether they know who you are or not. If people keep disappearing in a specific area, it will attract concerned people. They will think that we are there. He's right, Minghong nodded. They want to find Shi Yan and that native woman. They don't know about us. We have to go to the territory entrance anyway. We will continue to kill people in our way to draw attention. It's much better than sticking with him. Once he loses his mind, it will be big trouble to us. Yeah, Minghao agreed with him. Why do you want to take Meiji with you? You trust her. Audrey wore a cold face. I will go with you. No, screamed Minghao and Minghong at the same time. If she went with Shi Yan, there was a big possibility that something bad would happen to her. Perhaps insane Shi Yan would kill her before the others could find them. Minghao and Minghong had considered Audrey as the future of Imperial Dark Tribe. Of course, they weren't going to let it happen. Carve the location of the territory entrance on my heavenly fantasy star compass for me. Perhaps we can reunite on the way. Even if we can't meet, as long as I'm safe, I can return to desolate territory through the entrance. Shi Yan handed the compass to Minghong. Minghong didn't think much and immediately carved the location on the compass with a special note read entrance to desolate territory. When Shi Yan had it back, his soul consciousness had checked and he received the precise location of the desolate territory's entrance. Take care, he turned to the other three, turning into a jet of light and zooming away. On his way, he grabbed Meiji and disappeared into the far sea area. I'm going with you, Audrey screamed. Minghong and Mingha stopped her from taking risks. Don't go. We will see him later, hissed Minghong. He won't get hurt easily. If something bad happens, it will happen to that woman. Minghao's eyes sparkled strangely as if he knew what Shiyan had in his mind. Don't worry. He has a way to solve his problem fast. This kid has been swaggering in our desolate territory for many years. He's used the devouring power Upanishad smoothly. He won't kill himself. Oh, what did he do to stabilize his condition? Said Audrey. Mingha laughed evilly. He has his methods anyway. Don't worry. This kid knows how to behave. As long as we kill more people in our way and draw the focus to us, he can have more time to steady his mind. He will catch up with us soon, perhaps. Chapter 1442, Bewitch. Chapter 1442, Bewitch. _18+. Meiji was secretly happy. Shiyan brought her to the remote sea area and separated them from the others. She wasn't worried. Shiyan had chosen her instead of Audrey. This decision made her happy physically and mentally. The starlight layers twirled around them. Inside the splendid starlight cage, Meiji felt cozy as she leaned against Shiyan. Her thighs placed against his. She giggled. Actually, you don't need to hurry to get back to desolate territory. It's true that the other 5 clans are finding you. But our Phantom Clan and White Bone Clan aren't. Shiyan panted and frowned, his eyes red. What do you want to say? If you want, our Phantom Clan will accommodate you. We can quietly return to the Phantom Clan's headquarters. I believe that with the power Upanishad symbol tower, the Phantom Clan will consider you as the most distinguished guest. Don't worry. I know some secret channels. We can avoid a lot of experts, instigated Meiji. If I reach the territory ancestor realm, I can go to your clan freely. I can go with you now, in fact. But now, Shiyan shook his head. Meiji was bewildered, but she understood right away. You're worrying that we might trouble you. At this moment, I don't trust anyone but myself. According to you, the power Upanishad symbol tower is so precious. Anyone from the 7 great clans wouldn't show mercy when they find me. I don't think your Phantom Clan will leave me alone when they find that I'm only at first sky of a mortal realm. I'm just a piece of cake. Why would they hold back? Snorted Shiyan. Meiji kept quiet and thought. She also thought that the elders of the Phantom Clan perhaps wouldn't give her face to solve this properly. You're right. Only when your realm is sufficient will you be able to negotiate conditions. She wasn't foolish. But as a member of the Phantom Clan, she couldn't turn her back to them just yet. What did you say to them before we parted? Why did we have to part? She asked again. Shiyan looked her deep in the eyes. His eyes flared up, which made Meiji's shiver unknowingly. The light from his eyes was invasive, making Meiji uneasy. He didn't answer. Meiji didn't chase him. She had an intuition that it would be somehow related to her. She could feel clearly that Shiyan was hesitant. He seemed to struggle to make a decision. And it was true. Because of his greed, he had let the devouring power Upanishad swallow as much as he pleased, which made his soul and body annoyed and unstable. He was used to experiencing this. When he had been in such a condition, he had to vent it out. It was a way he knew that would work all the time. Today, he had to think about it again. He had 2 options, Audrey and Meiji. He soon made up his mind. He would use Meiji as his tool. As Minghong and Mingha were all here, especially the brutal soul Minghong, he couldn't get over this challenge. He had to give her a pass. Meiji was his only choice then. But even if it was Meiji, Shiyan felt a little troublesome if he forced her to have sex with him just to cure his soul and body. He had another option, though. In this short time, if he found some female warriors, he could capture them to release his stress. This time, his condition was really unstable and abnormal. From his previous experiences, he had swallowed too many soul altars and essence chi. His body could hardly endure for a long time. The females who had intercourse with him could receive great benefits, the mysterious energy that refined the body and even the soul altar. Ahead of them was an undersea rock forest. The rock columns were strange and peculiar. They seemed to be made of some 5-colored crystal, which was emitting spectacular, dazzling halos. Shiryen observed the forest from a distance. He found that it was really vast, around hundreds of miles. It could make a good shelter, though. He released his soul consciousness and used the space power Upanishad to scout around. A few seconds later, he retrieved the soul consciousness, and he dashed toward the rock forest. He hollowed a massive rock column and then took Meiji inside. Meiji's charming body was skeptical. She tried to know what he wanted from his strange deeds. She came to think that he wanted to cultivate here. The rock column was like a massive tree trunk. After he had hollowed it, it became a small jade chamber that could lodge 3 to 5 people. Shiryen set up a space barrier to seal the entrance. Then, he made another one to seal their auras to prevent others from spotting them. You want to concentrate on cultivating? Don't worry. I got your back. When someone comes, I'll notify you, said Meiji naturally. However, Shiryen only looked at her. He didn't sit down cross-legged. His red eyes became hotter. Hey, Meiji felt insecure. I want you. Pondering for a while, Shiryen said. His simple words conveyed a terrifying meaning. Your body can cure me of my current problem. I need your body to vent out the negative energy. Censored. Meiji's body shivered. She was terrified, and she hurried back to the jade wall. Her charming body was aghast. You. What did you say? Do you know what situation we are in? Even if you desire my body, you should find some other excuse. It's not the right time. Under Shiryan's hot, explicit gaze, Meiji retreated and slumped. She was horror-struck. I'm not kidding. Shiryan's breathing was short and rapid. He realized that when he finally decided to use this method, Meiji's attractiveness to him had increased several times. The flame of desire in the bottom of his heart was ignited. There was no way to press it down. At this moment, Meiji was wearing a tight, strawberry, long dress. It perfectly outlined her perfect body with hot curves and ample breasts. Her succulent red lips were so sexy. Her charming beauty made Shiryen gulp as he suddenly felt his dry throat. Explain yourself. Meiji screamed hoarsely, her but sticking on the jade wall and her charming face discolored. I cultivate devouring power Upanishad. Shiryen explained quickly about the side effects of the devouring power Upanishad. He had pressed the effects of the negative energies and how the refined energy could help women who had experienced sexual intercourse with him. It's good for you anyway. You won't bear a loss. I still have other options. What other options? Meiji was surprised. I can choose to do it with any woman, but I have to kill them after that. I won't disclose my location. Anyway, if that happens, I have to consume some energy, which should be precious for refining the body or for transforming. Shiryen said in a low voice. Besides these things, is there anything else that made you choose me? If you can bring benefits to your partner, why wouldn't you choose Audrey? Meiji gritted her teeth and blushed. She felt that her body was very soft. Waves of heat attacked her as she felt a strange joy. I want you. You're beautiful and you know enchanting techniques. You can give me pleasure that nothing can compare to, roared Shiryen. It seemed like a beast was about to jump out of his body, his face ferocious. If I'm not wrong, you're saying that I'm prettier than her? Compared to her, I can satisfy you better and you fell for me. Meiji thinned her lips. She couldn't help but lick her lips, her eyes filled with romantic thoughts. Yeah, it's true. Are you happy now? Hissed Shiryen. I am. Meiji smiled charmingly, her eyes watery. Well, considering your correct answer, The strawberry fabric slid down her curves, revealing a white, hot body. It was the sort of soft and curvy body of a mature woman that could drive any man crazy. As Shiryen was a man, he was enchanted too. Shiryen roared like a beast and jumped on her sexy body. He tore the long dress she hadn't taken off yet into pieces. His big mouth began to nibble and suck her breathtaking, heavy, milky breasts. Meiji's moaning could make even her bones soft. She felt so hot as she tried to squeeze her straight legs together. She felt embarrassed when she felt her lower body become damp. Shortly after, she recalled the memory when they were on the Skull Island when Shiryen had done something at her private area. She began to melt. Yan's clothes became rags instantly. His vigorous, muscular body was exposed. His body looked like it was molded out of iron with attractive, masculine features. Meiji eyed him, her watery eyes strange. She bit her lower lip. Her heart seemed to be on fire. Although she had cultivated the seducing technique in the clan, she had never been with a man. Looking at Yan's majestic body, she felt that she couldn't hold herself together. His snow-white body blushed beautifully. She was aroused. "Please me. Use the enchanting technique of your phantom clan." Yan grinned, his body straight like a long lance. His big hand slapped her round butt cheeks, making them bounce mesmerizingly. "You know how." Meiji's beautiful eyes were so seducing as she embarrassedly cried in pain. "When I grew up, I used to learn the techniques, but I haven't used them before. I guess it won't be that smooth." Then, she slowly squatted in front of him, her long hair draping on her waist and her round rear end thrusting out. Her slender fingers wrapped around his member as she brought her succulent red lips toward. Yan took a deep breath. He felt all his pores open. An unimaginable pleasure struck him. He thought that he was going to explode soon. At this moment, he deeply understood the compliments people gave the phantom women. Each of the phantom women was a sexy treasure, an endless sweet dream for men. Meiji shoved her head between his thought, sitting on her heels and showing her pretty backside. Her tongue was moving. Sometimes, she wiped her dangling hair and lifted her face to throw him a seducing glance. Her eyes had bewitched Yan's soul. Chapter 1443, Mistakenly Hit. Chapter 1443, Mistakenly Hit. It was an area on the seabed with many strange-shaped rocks growing from the ground like a forest. Many unknown fishes were swimming around. The 5 colored rocks jutted from the seabed like colossal columns and released splendid halos. They looked magnificent and mysterious at the same time. This rock forest was a spectacular scene undersea. Phew. 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 So many figures inside the light protection came into the rock forest. They were 7 beefy, male warriors of the ancient monster clan. They had a lot of fur covering their body. Although their faces were clean, they looked ugly and fearsome. Each of their light cages confined a beautiful sea clan female. The 7 females were dying. Their clothes were torn and they had clear marks of whips on their bodies. The 7 ancient monster men glided through the rock forest and found a place to rest. The leader of this group was a muscular, tall, middle-aged man, his tiger eyes lewd. He placed the Sea Clan woman inside his light cage against a rock column and babbled, "Slutty Meiji, I'm going to kill you. I'll do you until you die." He imagined that the Sea Clan woman under his body was Meiji. Apparently, he had a big desire for her. This man was called Hussein, an expert at Third Sky of Immortal Realm from the ancient monster clan. He was Yerburga's cousin. He was the leader of the ancient monster clan in the Sea of Annihilation. After Hussein was sent to the Sea of Annihilation, he was enchanted as soon as he saw Meiji. He had come to the Phantom Clan's island several times to try to show his affection for Meiji. Unfortunately, he was at Third Sky of Immortal Realm, which was 1 level lower than Meiji at Peak of Immortal Realm. Meiji had provoked and mocked him many times. He had even asked the Ancient Monster Clan to ask the Phantom Clan to let him marry her. Through their marriage, the relationship between the Ancient Monster Clan and the Phantom Clan would be tightened. Of course, it was just an excuse. He wanted to have Meiji. That was the main reason. The Phantom Clan had actually considered this. Then, Batum saw Meiji and began to chase after her fiercely. Immediately, Hussein's light was shadowed. Since Batum was about to enter Territory Ancestor Realm, he was much more critical than Hussein. After the Phantom Clan had considered many aspects, they decided to choose Batum and reject Hussein. It was Hussein's eternal pain. Afterward, whenever he saw Meiji in the Sea of Annihilation, he couldn't say even a nice word to talk to her. He had purposely rumored that Meiji was a slut and that she had affairs with so many men. Because of his ill-talking, Meiji had personally come to the Ancient Monster Clan's base in the Sea of Annihilation and bit him hard. He had bled terribly at that time. After that, the Ancient Monster Clan and the Phantom Clan had caused grudges against each other. Hussein had behaved for a long time. He didn't dare to trouble Meiji anymore. They said that he kept around 10 female slaves who looked somewhat similar to Meiji. He used them to vent out his anger and desire for Meiji. Also, rumors said that those female slaves were tortured to death. This time, Hussein had received orders from his superiority, so he took his henchmen to the Seabed to find Shiryen and Meiji. He had volunteered to find the Power Upanishad symbol tower. The real hotshot of the Ancient Monster Clan was about to come to the Sea of Annihilation. He had contacted Hussein and asked him to locate Shiryen's direction. Through his channel, Hussein knew that many people had gone missing in the sea area that belonged to Emperor Sea Shark. He got an idea, so he came to check. After several days of searching, he got nothing. Gradually, he became irritated and annoyed. Currently, he found some beautiful women of the Sea Clan who were wandering around. His lewd feature arose. He thought that the seabed was chaotic just then, so if he killed some Sea Clan women, no one could detect him. He then abducted them and brought them to this rock forest to play his lewd games. Those women didn't have high realms. Most of them were at true god realm, so they couldn't endure harsh intercourse for a long time. After those immortal realm experts had played with them for a while, they all died. Shortly after, while Hussein was yelling Meiji's name, the Sea Clan woman under his body stopped breathing anymore, her body full of bruises and wounds. At his critical moment, the young woman died. The cold and stiff body irritated him. He became foul-mouthed, and he punched through the woman's chest. Then, he threw her away. Rumble. The Sea Clan woman bumped into a massive yellow rock column. A wave of space energy rippled from that rock column, and the entire column radiated a terrifying light. What? Hussein screamed and then dismissed the brown light cage covering him. The water swarmed in and washed his half-naked body. He frowned, moving toward the rock column and calling. Are you all done yet? I'm done. I'm done. Sir, you're done. Even if we haven't, we have to get it done. His subordinates in the Ancient Monster Clan weren't different from him. They laughed eccentrically while pulling up their pants. Throw the bodies to that rock column, ordered Hussein. His warriors didn't know why, but they didn't dare to not obey him. They forcefully flung the naked bodies of the Sea Clan women who they had just tortured to death toward the column. As those bodies became a mess of blood and flesh, the light on the rock column was clearer and space energy was rippling. What's going on? Why does this rock column have space energy? Have we just found the pieces of a divine weapon? Haha, it's our fortune. Possible. Many people who've been searching for things from the absolute beginning era often encounter nice things in a sudden incident. The savage warriors of the Ancient Monster Clan were stirred up. They didn't bat an eye on the crushed bodies of the Sea Clan women. They surrounded the rock column that had released space energy. Be careful. If it's really treasure, we can't afford to break it further. We have to dig it out slowly, Hussein said to his warriors. He was also excited and thought, it's God's will. Haha, even when I'm playing with those slutty women, I find the absolute beginning treasures. That slut Meiji didn't choose me. Sooner or later, I'll shower her what she has to face. Sir, let me try. I'm cultivating water power Upanishad, which is gentle and supple. I will be very careful. What do you think? Asked a big-headed man. Hussein nodded. Be careful. If you damage the treasure, I'll cut your penis. Don't worry, sir. The man winced, gingerly walked to the column. He had only first sky of immortal realm, though. He placed 2 hands on the rock column, sending out 2 cold, blue water currents. The god power from the water slowly seeped into the rock column and tried to see the situation inside. Boom! A brutal, frenzy, bloodthirsty, and heartless aura blasted like a flood current. It moved against his current of god power and entered his brain. Instantly, the warrior was filled with restless and angry feelings. He wanted to kill all creatures around. He roared, "Kill," as his energy rocketed like a varmint. He turned around all of a sudden, gliding to the nearest warrior. The rapid water arrows shot out from his chest and exploded grumblingly. As the other was focusing on observing the rock column, he got hit without being able to duck. Thud. The light cage protecting this man shattered as though it was made of glass. The water arrow pierced through his chest. The others could hear his bones crack. He spurted blood. Dark? You mother****. You're crazy, thundered Hussein. He's really crazy. The beefy man of the ancient monster clan called Dark had the rapid water twirling around him, turning into so many water arrows and shooting everywhere. The warriors from the ancient monster clan screamed and scattered. They all saw the other abnormal condition. It's because of that rock column, cried someone. Seize him. Let me control him. Hussein yelled. The wounded man had a dent on his chest. Blood oozed from the corners of his mouth as he was blown backward, breaking some rock column by his back. He looked ashen afterward. Aside from Hussein, the warriors of the ancient monster clan were attacking furiously as if they didn't care if they could hurt Dark. They quickly attacked him to the point he was dying, then tied him up. Wake him up, said Hussein. A warrior with a cold face sent a wisp of cold soul consciousness into Dark's head. Dark shook violently, and then his eyes looked lucid. He pointed at the rock column as if he had encountered spooky ghosts. It's not good there. Strong killing intention. It can seep into the sea of consciousness fast. It should be some evil treasures inside. Guys, you have to be careful. Then we have to break this column first, Hussein pondered and spoke with a cold face. Let me do that, said another warrior. As soon as he urged his power Upanishad, a sharp metal blade appeared. It was like a dazzling gold sword as it hacked down on the stone column. Crack! Crack! Fire sparked. So many space sabers shot out from inside the column, disorderly cutting everywhere. The warriors of the ancient monster clan had to duck with frightened faces. Damn! Why is there a space barrier? No! No! Someone is in there. I can feel the aura of living beings. Although it was just a flash, I'm sure someone is there, screamed the man who had wounded by Dark. He suddenly screamed while staying away from the scene to rest. Right, someone is inside the column. Hussein was shocked. When the space sabers shot out, he could feel a familiar aura. That aura came out with some erotic smell that made him baffled. Break it. Do your best, shouted Hussein. Yes, sir. The warriors of the ancient monster clan attacked at the same time. The lights of the divine weapons, waterfalls, mountain, and water hit the column at the same time. As many energies from the power Upanishads and the secret treasures were attacking at the same time, the space barrier inside the rock column couldn't stand it anymore. Hussein then saw the rock column explode. Hussein gawked at the scene after the column had broken. He felt like someone had just hit him hard in his chest. His blood churned as he almost vomited. Chapter 1444, Meiji's Harvest. Chapter 1444, Meiji's Harvest, _ 18+. The rock column exploded and exposed two naked, twisting bodies. The man's body looked as beautiful as if he was carved out of marble. Each curve of his body was clear and full of exploding energy. The woman's body could be deemed perfect. She was like an exquisite masterpiece of art, which looked flawless and incomparably beautiful. At this moment, the woman was lying under the man, her blushing face glistening with sweat. They were protected inside a splendid light cage, which made Hussein's team baffled. Meiji. It's Meiji of the Phantom Clan. That man. He's the one everybody is searching for. The two beefy men of the ancient monster clan stammered. They didn't notice Hussein's shaking body and firing eyes. Hussein looked at the other two, his wrath rising. The goddess in his heart, the amazing treasure he had dreamed for, was lying under a man, moaning and murmuring. Although he had seen just a little part of Meiji's body because Shuryen was towering her, he could clearly see the pleasure on Meiji's face. Apparently, she was enjoying being touched and conquered. Hussein's face reddened as he felt like someone had just punched him hard in his chest. He screamed like a caged animal. I will kill you. Starlight rippled from the cage. Suddenly, the light cage became translucent. They couldn't see the scene inside. Abruptly, Hussein transformed into a beast. The fur on his entire body rose, his bones cracking. He grew half a meter taller, fur covering his face. He was screaming something unclear as he barged into the light cage. A cold feeling that was chilly to the bone came out from the light cage. Shortly, the seawater froze and created a terrifying glacier barrier. Hussein bumped into the thick ice layer. His down fell off of his body after he hit the thick ice. The ice then had many cracks. "Take action, all of you. Kill that slut for me," Hussein thundered crazily. He became frantic as if his mental disease finally burst out. He had been infatuated with Meiji for many years, but he didn't have a chance to hold her hand. He could only satisfy himself with the women whose look was similar to Meiji. Meiji used to hit him hard, anyway. In his eyes, Meiji was a perfect woman on a high throne. She was too perfect to be trespassed by anyone. In front of him today, Meiji was serving a man. She gasped and moaned gently. This image had torn the perfect Meiji in his heart. He felt a hard thrust into his body and twisted, leaving so many wounds. Under such a given circumstance, he directly transformed into a beast, a special technique of the ancient monster clan that would trigger the most mysterious feature of his bloodline. He screamed and howled wildly. He had to tear Shuryen into pieces. As soon as his subordinates saw him that way, they knew that Hussein had lost his mind. If they didn't follow him, he would kill them all. They didn't hesitate to urge their power Upanishads and strike their god power on the thick ice. Crack! 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 The thick ice stood still under the bombarding. Behind the ice, two bodies inside the starlight cage were still entangled with each other like two twisting snakes. They were passionately doing the wild things. That blurry scene poked Hussein's eyes. He hated how he couldn't eat that man alive. He wanted to crush him into pieces. A soft moaning came from Meiji's mouth and the wild movement inside the cage stopped. That man squinted slightly, wearing a cold face as he pulled out of her. He sat upright inside the light cage. He didn't mind his naked body, closing his eyes and ordering deliberately. "Kill them." He acted like he was Meiji's master and could order her as he pleased. He could even force her if he wanted. Strangely, Meiji listened to him obediently. She said, softly, and then took out a long coat, which covered her body from her breasts to her thighs. She showcased her shoulders, her beautiful legs, and deep cleavage and walked out of the starlight cage. Her jade-like feet stepped on the bubbles as she strolled into the thick ice layer. Meiji was like a blooming flower, her eyes watery with the colors of the spring that still showed she was thinking about her romantic experience. At this moment, her posture and appearance after enjoying the intimate things between a man and a woman could pump every man's blood faster. Poor little Hussein, didn't I teach you enough last time? You want to court death when you come to the seabed? Who is he? Who is that damn kid? Hussein screamed wildly. His soul was about to explode because of jealousy. Meiji had never given him face. She always mocked him with the position of a superior. She had even hit him. However, she was obedient and tender to that man. It enraged him so much that he wanted to vomit blood. "He's my man. Did you feel angry when you saw my man love me?" Meiji grinned. Her line of sight passed Hussein. She didn't care about the flame of anger in Hussein's eyes as she beamed at the warriors of the ancient monster clan. "Am I pretty?" "Hell yeah. Sure you are." "Yes. Yes." The warriors of the ancient monster clan looked baffled. They nodded to her. "Are you willing to help me do something?" Meiji asked them gently. "We are," they nodded to her. "Kill Hussein for me," Meiji smiled charmingly. Hussein's subordinates looked like they were struggling. All of a sudden, their eyes showed their craziness. They became excited and attacked Hussein. "You despicable SL*T. You dare instigate my warriors to kill me," cried Hussein. Flows of his god power congregated and created a massive silver shield. He used it to parry his subordinates. "All of you will die." Meiji's voice was gentle. The thick ice in front of her cracked when she touched it. Walking out barefooted, she looked so beautiful. Her exposed skin was like crystal that shined mesmerizing light. Meiji's charming bearings had increased after her romantic affair with Shuryen. She walked out of the ice rock, her watery eyes moving. Suddenly, She looked so thrilled. Her voluptuous body couldn't help but quiver. She turned to Shiryen, who was closing his eyes quietly while sitting cross-legged inside the light cage, her heart filled with a joy that she couldn't explain. She just recognized that the wounds that troubled her for a long time had healed. Her god power had recovered, and it had surged and become pure. Her blood, flesh, bones, and the soul altar had all strengthened unknowingly. It seemed like a mysterious power had washed her entire body and refined her every bit of her. At this moment, she felt much better than when she went to Dragon Lizard Star. After having sex with him, the benefits she received was amazing. Not only were her body and spirit pleased, but her power also increased and her wounds recovered. She could feel her body transform too. It was unimaginable. Meiji looked at Shiryen sitting over there, her bright eyes infatuated. She bit her lower lips and her face was aroused in a way that could make any man's heart beat frantically. She didn't even bat an eye at Hussein in the besiege of his subordinates behind her. She didn't look at Hussein, but Hussein was gazing at her. Looking at the woman with her passionate eyes fixed on another man, Hussein was flooded with jealousy. He roared hoarsely, "I have to kill him. I swear I will kill him." Finally, Meiji turned around, the charming expression disappearing from her face. She became so cold. "I will kill you first. Don't worry. If your warriors can't kill you, I will do it myself." Although they were all men, she had treated them much differently. "You have to push him further. Do all that you can to kill him." Meiji's face was cold, but her voice was soft and begging as if she could reach their hearts. Her voice echoed in the ancient Monster Clan warriors' heads like the voice of ghosts. They became wilder. They didn't care about their lives and urged their best attacks. The warrior who had cultivated metal power Upanishad turned into an extremely sharp blade. He parted the seawater and thrust into Hussein's shield. It looked like he was burning his life to take the energy. The shield exploded. Hussein lost his defending weapon. He had to take action. Crack! He broke his subordinate's neck and grinned. "All of you have to die." The other warriors weren't afraid of death as they stormed toward. Some of them had the flame of a soul burning in their eyes. Meiji had made them completely mad. However, their realm was lower than Hussein's. When they came to be Hussein's subordinates, Hussein knew all their weaknesses. Some even had given him their soul seal. As his rage had flooded him, Hussein couldn't control them or mind their lives. He decided to use his secretive tricks. Boom, boom, boom. 3 of their soul altars exploded. Their heads shattered like falling watermelon. Some had cracks in their chests, which expanded rapidly. Then, their bodies shattered as if they were some china that fell to the ground. Hussein resolutely took action. He didn't mind his subordinates as he killed them all. He had to consume energy, which made him very tired. At this moment, Meiji's beautiful feet appeared in his sight. "I can't believe you're that cruel. You've planted the deadly seal into your subordinates. I've underestimated you. I have no choice then. I have to take action myself. Meiji, you can't kill me. I know you're wounded badly. Cousin Yerberg told me that you got wounded badly. Haha, I will capture you first and then that kid. I will you right in front of him. Then, I will kill you all." "Haha, awesome," grinned Hussein fiendishly. "Go F***ck your mother. You crossbreed." Meiji hissed through her gritted teeth. A triangular ice crystal emerged from her palm, which was generated by her god power. The ice crystal was extremely cold. Strangely, it was partly visible. Meiji was a little bewildered for a few seconds. Her body shook hard, her beautiful face disbelieving. She was almost choking on her breath as she screamed, "Dark. Dark energy." Chapter 1445, Be an Obedient Woman. Chapter 1445, Be an Obedient Woman. Using her soul consciousness to check her body, Meiji found wisps of a strange energy in her sea of consciousness. They were partial visible as if they were flickering flames that would extinguish at any minute. She urged the ice power Upanishad. Ice crystals emerged from her palms with her soul consciousness. Her soul consciousness now had some wisps of energy that could make her snowflakes invisible. They looked fake somehow. Meiji at the peak of Immortal Realm had tried to cultivate and understand dark energy numerous times. Sometimes she risked her life, which had almost pushed her into bedevilment and death. Torment and difficulties were what she had experienced while comprehending dark energy. As the Phantom clan had decided against her will that she must marry Batum, her desire for dark energy reached a frantic level. Thus, while in Dragon Lizard Star, when she found that Shiryen had fused with the absolute beginning creature soul, she had tried everything to chase after him. After so many adversities, she couldn't get it. After having a romantic time with Shiryen, it appeared all of a sudden in her sea of consciousness. Meiji was baffled. She thought that she was dreaming or hallucinating. Why is that? Meiji mumbled unconsciously. The ice power Upanishad was still moving. The ice crystal released the extremely cold air. Yulud woman. Seeing her in a daze, Hussein thought that his chance had come. He roared like a beast and stormed toward her. Boom! A ferocious, giant ape stormed out of Hussein's head. It was more than 100 meters tall. Although it wasn't really solid, its roar shook the sky as if it could break it shortly. It was another secret technique of the ancient monster clan. They could rebuild the image of their ancestor in their bloodline to perform a supernatural power. The giant ape howled. The seawater exploded by the sound waves. At this moment, Hussein's skeleton grew and stretched behind the giant ape. He had transfigured into a smaller ape which was pounding its chest brutally. Thud! Meiji's body shook when the furious waves attacked her. Magical waves rippled from her breasts. Her perplexed eyes were clear now. She beamed beautifully. Ice blast! Boom! 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 The ice behind her exploded. Thousands of icicles jutted out and shelled the giant ape. The giant ape roared furiously. Its arms were like massive pillars pounding on Meiji's head. Meiji giggled. The ice crystal in her palm slowly flew out and turned into a cold light, falling onto the giant ape's chest. Crack! 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 A strange sound echoed from the inside of the giant ape. Shortly after, the ape froze as if it had a glacier running in its body. The giant ape and Hussein screeched painfully. Hussein was bleeding terribly. He limped backward. Every step he made, a stream of blood gushed out of his body. He was aghast. Impossible. Even at your peak condition, you never had such intimidating powers. Meiji smiled charmingly and nodded to him. Right. Even when I was at my peak condition, I have never had such pure energy. Poor you, you're really unhappy. You always encounter me after I just leveled up. Death serves you well. Boom. Boom. The giant ape exploded. Pieces of ice twirled and congregated, turning into a small ice crystal. The cold light in Meiji's eyes flashed. The ice crystal turned into a jet of light, disappearing strangely as if it had its own consciousness. Hussein was shaken. His face paled as he looked at his chest. A bleeding hole appeared in his chest where blood was gushing. He felt his internal organs freeze. The chilling energy had invaded his soul altar. His consciousness became hazy and blurry. He fell helplessly and crushed many rock columns. The expression on his face ceased. Meiji walked barefooted. A crystal blue light cage covered her body. She moved gracefully towards Hussein. I agree with that asshole to kill anyone in our way. You've insulted me before. Of course, you have to disappear. We don't want to leave any possible danger. She looked at the shattered body of the Sea Clan young women, sighing and mumbling to herself, I took revenge for you too. Swoosh! A cold light shot out from Hussein's mouth. The ice crystal returned to her hand and melted. At this moment, a black hole flew out from Shiryan's light cage and covered the corpses of the ancient monster clan warriors. The black hole was taking in countless wisps of energy. Shiryen stood still. He was still naked, his eyes closed. He didn't seem to worry about Meiji. Shortly after, the essence chi and the soul energy from the dead warriors of the ancient monster clan were absorbed. Those bodies desiccated and grayed. Then, Meiji urged her power to dig up many deep holes in this rock forest to bury the corpses of Hussein's team and the bodies of the Sea Clan women. Concealing all the streaks of the battle, Meiji smiled and turned into a mirror-like rock column. She happily checked the glow on her face. She was delighted when she saw the minor changes on her face after having intimate activities. She couldn't help but hum some folk song of the Phantom Clan. She looked like a young maiden falling in love for the first time. After a while, Shiryen finally opened his eyes and covered his body with a black robe. He stood up and said, "We should go." Meiji's graceful body flashed and she wormed into his light cage, sticking to his arm. She was definitely a girl in love. "Do you know that I got dark energy in my sea of consciousness?" She was so happy that she couldn't arrange her thoughts well, her cheeks blushing. The naive expression of a maiden and the mature features that only mature women could have had combined perfectly on her, making her more mesmerizing and strikingly attractive. Having dark energy meant she had a real chance to reach the territory ancestor realm. It was what she had in her mind and in her dreams. How could she not be thrilled? "You should say thanks to Gonfu and Batum," said Shiryen, looking pensive. Gonfu and Batum understood dark energy's powers. He had swallowed Gonfu's and Batum's soul altars, which had stagnated his refining. The main reason why he had almost become frenzied was because of the dark energy from Gonfu and Batum. Refining their dark energy to become something he could use was a tough move. It was the reason why he couldn't refine the other energy quickly. They had accumulated and jammed his devouring power Upanishad. When he had sunk into pleasure with Meiji, the negative energies released and filled the sealed rock column. While Dark was using the power of water to sense, his brimming negative energies had found a channel to drain. They hit Dark's soul altar and made him crazy. He had regained his sound mind after he released the negative energy. At the moment, Shiryen and Meiji reached the climax in the vague fantasy feeling. Part of the enormous refined energy had transferred to Meiji. When Meiji's god power reached a new height, her body had refined and her life form had advanced. At the same time, a part of dark energy from Gonfu and Batum had reached Meiji's sea of consciousness. Shiryen didn't know why or how. "The dark energy in my sea of consciousness came from Gonfu and Batum?" Meiji felt funny. "Yeah, I can tell that Gonfu's and Batum's death had helped you." Shiryen nodded and then continued, "Of course, most of their dark energy has come to my sea of consciousness. You got 20% of their energy. But I don't know how to help you cultivate dark energy further because I don't understand it anyway. Perhaps it's because I haven't reached the territory ancestor realm yet. There's something I need to learn. When I have a breakthrough to territory ancestor realm, I can finally comprehend the power of dark energy. I got a lot of benefits. How about you?" Meiji smiled. Shiryen squinted and sensed for a few seconds. He smiled at her. "I just need to understand the realm further, and I can get into second sky of immortal realm. My body, strength, and soul altar are at the edge of a breakthrough. As soon as I understand the power Upanishads further, I can reach the second sky of immortal realm immediately." Meiji's eyes brightened. Anyway, there was something that Shiryen didn't tell her. During this course, the essence chi and soul energy from the dead had become mysterious energy after being refined. The amount of this energy had gone beyond his upper limit. Although he had sent a part of it to Meiji, it was still brimming and surging. Also, a massive part of it had swarmed into the absolute beginning original symbol inside his life ball. At this moment, the absolute beginning original symbol was like a massive life with magnificent and abundant life energy that nothing could compare to. It was his new source of life where he hid a life. He could feel that even if someone shattered his body and exploded his skeleton, as long as he used the ultimate power called the surging vitality, he could gather the life inside that absolute beginning original symbol to recover his body. He then could have an undying body that was as strong as a dragon. It helped his fighting a lot. When he thought about it, he could resume his perfect body with just a mere thought when he was wounded and dying. His body ended up having full energy and surging vitality. How amazing could it be? "That Hussein something seemed infatuated with you for a long time, wasn't he?" asked Shiryen all of a sudden. "Guys who court death deserve death. But you didn't show a bit of mercy. Will you treat me that way later? If you dare to abandon me, I'll kill you too." "Huh." Meiji gritted her teeth but then burst out laughing. "I'm unlucky though. I lost to your hands. I can't escape you. If you want to ditch me one day, Even if I want to kill you, I won't be able to. As long as you're obedient. Shiryen grinned and placed one finger on her fragrant, red lips. I like obedient women. If you can do that, nothing will happen to you. I will behave and obey. Meiji smiled until her eyes squinted. She skillfully sucked his finger, her tongue curling around it. Chapter 1446. Massacre the entire island. Chapter 1446. Massacre the entire island. Phantom Clan's island base. The wall of the secret chamber had so many crystals set that shined on the purple crystal in the middle. The magnificent crystal radiated beautiful beams of light. Yulian and the two beautiful ladies of the Phantom Clan were busy moving around the secret chamber. They didn't even have time to rest. Yulian Jiejia, do you think Madame Meiji is going with that Shiryen? Asked a naive-looking young lady while she moved a crystal on her 10 skillful fingers, her fingertips shooting electricity. Xiao Meng, what do you think? Smiled Yulian. I think it's impossible. Xiao Meng shook her head. Madame Meiji is the most excellent woman of our clan. Hussein and Batum are infatuated with her. She even has the third sky of Immortal Realm. She's potentially going to break through into Territory Ancestor Realm. Shiryen, that guy has just the first sky of Immortal Realm, right? Why would Madame Meiji want to run around with him? Because he may get the power Upanishad symbol tower, Yulian smiled. Of course, it's just what people are guessing. No one knows the actual situation. What we have to do now is to send the breaking news to Madame Meiji from the 5 clans. She needs to stay updated. The other lady who hadn't said anything from the beginning suddenly said, Meiji isn't answering anything. I think she can't at the moment. Yulian frowned and looked at the massive purple crystal floating in front of them. This spirit information amethyst sends her information. As long as she's within the Sea of Annihilation, she can receive it. Anyway, passively receiving information won't disclose her location. Once she answers, the spirit information amethyst can detect her location. Why is she so afraid? We won't sell Madame Meiji, said Meiji. Of course, we won't. I'm just afraid that someone could use this to find her, sighed Yulian. Recently, the members of the 5 clans had sent their messengers to the island to pressure them and ask them to hand the spirit information amethyst. They wanted to use the crystal to lure Meiji and detect her location. Yulian felt the pressure swell after every day. Yesterday, she had sent the message to the headquarters. After the experts of the clan found out about this, they had decided to send someone. However, the Phantom Clan was pretty far away from the Sea of Annihilation. Even if their hotshots moved non-stop, it would take a long time to get to the Sea of Annihilation. For the time being, it was going to be hard to ensure that the experts of the other 5 clans would wait for them patiently. As Meiji had left, this island didn't have a true expert to guard. If the enemy barged in, they were going to have to endure passively. The 3 ladies were talking to each other in the secret chamber. They were collecting intelligence from those small crystals, sorting them, and then sending them to the massive purple crystal. Each member of the Phantom Clan could get the information from that crystal. A small crystal suddenly glowed. Xiao Meng raised one hand to grab a beam of green light. She closed her eyes to sense for a while. Then, her small face changed. Hussein and his troopers were murdered. It's breaking news from the ancient monster clan. Their soul ropes in the clan were broken. Their souls vanished. Listening to her, Yulian was frightened. The ancient monster clan will become indignant. They will attack us here. Boom. The small island was shaken hard. The barriers on the island were torn. Residents on the island all heard someone shouting. Thunder rumbled as if it wanted to turn the sky upside down. The entire world was shrouded in thunder and lightning. The 3 young ladies in the secret chambers discolored in fear. Feral. It's Feral who has a close friendship with the ancient monster clan. Yulian cried. Feral is one of the 3 great territory ancestors of the Sea of Annihilation. He often stays on the seabed to cultivate. He rarely comes to the surface. He came here this time because of Hussein. The ancient monster clan must have asked him. He came here for the spirit information amethyst. Then what should we do? Xiao Meng was about to cry. Even if Madame Meiji is here, she's not his match, let alone us. Yulian frowned and thought, Then, her face turned resolute when she said, "We can only do what we can." Her 10 fingers moved fast and sent a message to the Spirit Information Amethyst. "Madame Meiji, Feral is attacking the island. He may use the Spirit Information Amethyst to lure you. From now on, don't trust any news you get from here." After sending the message to the crystal, Yulian said, "Guys, cut off the connection of all the information crystals here. Shut down the Central Spirit Information Amethyst." Xiao Meng and the other young girl reacted quickly. They fumbled as they rushed their tasks. In this secret chamber, countless sparkling crystals on the wall lost their light like extinguished lanterns. At the same time, an eccentric-looking, middle-aged man with long hair draped around his shoulder was floating in the sky and punching the island. So many lightning balls fell unceasingly like meteors. They bombarded the barriers and restrictions on the island base of the Meiji into powder. Those lightning balls flew like eyes observing the entire islands. They found the phantom warriors and killed them all, crushing them into pieces. The old man looked calm as he landed like the god of thunder on the flowery island. Lightning shot out of his eyes and demolished the palaces on the island. His body flashed and reappeared in the secret chamber underneath. He frowned. The 3 thunderballs flashed and flew away. They captured the 3 girls. Shortly after, their souls perished. At this moment, all the warriors on the Phantom Clan's island were slaughtered. No one could escape. The man's eyes sparkled strangely as he gazed at the crystals inside the rooms. He spotted a message flashing inside the crystal floating amid the room. He used his soul consciousness to sense. He changed his face slightly as he knew that he was 1 step late. He knew that Yulian had sent the message beforehand. Snorting, the thunder balls twirled around him. The big and small crystals in the secret chamber exploded at the same time. He turned into a jet of light and soared up into the sky. The small island underneath cracked and sounded like doomsday. Shortly after, the entire island got fragmented and slowly sank into the sea. The base of the Phantom Clan slowly disappeared. Seabed. Meiji's body was shaken. Her beautiful eyes flared with a strange light. She took out a fist-sized crystal, which was also a purple one. At this moment, the purple crystal had so many light dots that began to extinguish. After each light disappeared, Meiji's face got paler. She was shivering. Shiryen frowned as he noticed Meiji's changed visage. He was a little perplexed. Yulian, Xiao Meng, they're all dead. All were murdered. The light dots in this crystal represent their lives. When they disappear, it means that their souls perished. Tears lingered in Meiji's eyes. She bit her lips and felt so helpless and powerless. Shiryen was bewildered. He recalled the young girl called Yulian. Yulian had talked to him not a long time ago. She had even pried on the relationship between him and Meiji. He couldn't believe that after just a link, the entire island decorated with flowers everywhere now had corpses laid in every corner. No one was left alive. To the other people of the Phantom Clan, Shiryen had good impressions. During this time, those girls had continuously sent Meiji intelligence of the 5 clans. With their timely updates, Shiryen and Meiji could assess the situation and avoid the traps that the enemies had set up. Today, those girls were killed. Shiryen and Meiji had lost their eyes. They couldn't receive the information of the other 5 clans' commotions. They wouldn't know what experts and preparations that the others had prepared for them. "Who did that?" grunted Shiryen. "Feral." Meiji hissed. Yulian knew that they couldn't escape. "She sent me the message at the critical moment. She told me that I had to be careful and to not trust the news that I will receive later. She knew that she would be killed. It's the last message she told me." "Feral? Who is he?" asked Shiryen skeptically. "One of the 3 territory ancestors in the Sea of Annihilation. The Emperor Sea Shark, Feral, and Ricardo are all experts at the territory ancestor realm. Most of the time, they stay and cultivate on the seabed. They will only go to the sea surface to collect or exchange when they need some special material. Feral cultivates lightning and electric power Upanishad. He's close to the ancient monster clan. They rumored that he was the offspring of a human woman and an ancestor of the ancient monster clan. Because of the bloodline, even he isn't a pureblood, he has a close relationship with the ancient monster clan. Hussein and Yerberg, the ones we killed, often brought him various gifts on special occasions of the ancient monster clan. They consider him their senior, but he rarely cares about the clan's business. This time, he slaughtered our island because of Yerberg and Hussein's deaths. Pausing for a while, Meiji's eyes were so sad. We have indirectly put Yu Lian, Xiao Meng, and the others to death. Shiyan sighed and comforted her. With your current realm and cultivation base, as long as you put more efforts in your cultivation, you will have a chance to take revenge soon. I know, Meiji wiped the tears in her eyes and gritted her teeth. I swear, I will take revenge for her. I will kill Feral and use that life to worship Yu Lian and the others. They died for us. I have the same responsibility. I will remember Feral's name, said Shiyan in a low-pitched voice. From now on, we can't count on my clan's intelligence anymore. Meiji tried to subside the agony in her heart and sort her thoughts. Feral has taken action. It means that the real experts of the Sea of Annihilation are going to aim at us. It'll be very rough for the coming time. We shouldn't let anyone corner us. Or else, when a territory ancestor comes, our efforts will have been for nothing. Yeah, for safety reasons, we should disguise ourselves too, Shiyan said coldly and calmly. Yeah, from now on, we can't make any mistake. We have to mask every small detail that can reveal us. Chapter 1447, Disguise and Sneak. Chapter 1447, Disguise and Sneak. Underscore a corner in the seabed. Tu Shirchi, Yeyun, and Dragon Lizard were moving around aimlessly. This area belonged to Emperor Sea Shark. They came here because they heard that many crews of the Sea Clan had disappeared mysteriously lately. The three of them began to doubt if it was related to Shiyan somehow. Thus, they rushed here from another area to search around. Some bell jingled in Yeyun's sleeves. She focused on sensing for a while, her face stern. Breaking news. Hussein of the ancient monster clan was killed. None of his troops survived. Tu Shirchi and Dragon Lizard changed their countenances. Hussein was another important person who was killed recently. He was the manager of the ancient monster clan in the Sea of Annihilation. His position was similar to Meiji and Ling Mei. Also, he was murdered on the seabed. With his power and his background, not many people dared to kill him. Tu Shirchi doubted that Shiyan's team had done that. They eventually confirmed that Shiyan didn't have Meiji go with him. Gon Fu of the Devouring Clan was at the peak of Immortal Realm and she had dark energy. She was killed too. It was enough to prove that Shiyan had some other experts accompanying him. With only Shiyan and Meiji, they couldn't match Gon Fu. Moreover, Ling Mei, Yerberg, Telika, and Farlo were all dead. It had proven that one of the murderers were going to enter the Territory Ancestor realm soon. Thus, when they heard that Hussein was dead, they weren't very surprised. They suspected Shiyan immediately. If the others knew Hussein's identity, they wouldn't have dared to kill him. I know Hussein also came to this area. The ancient monster clan should know where they died. Through a secret technique, they knew it when their bestial souls lost connection, said Tu Shirchi. Actually, they provided some details. They said it's in a rock forest, said Jiyun. A rock forest? Dragon Lizard's eyes brightened. I had senses with my soul consciousness and I found a blocked area. It should be the rock forest. Let's go. The three of them accelerated and moved as if they were flying. They reached the rock forest quickly. Their bodies must have been buried. Let me dig them up. Dragon Lizard's human clone was hovering above the rock forest. He sent many spiral wisps of god power to the rock forest and dug up the area. Boom. One wisp of his god power hit something rigid. His eyes brightened. He immediately landed and released more god power to dig up a large area. Shortly after, Hussein's body and his subordinates, including the Sea Clan ladies, were found. Dragon Lizard focused and observed the withered corpses. He said certainly, it has been around 3 days. They're close by, probably. Hussein was cut off by the cold energy. This cold energy likely came from Meiji. Tu Shirchi and Jiyun looked excited. It seems like they haven't been gone for a long time. Dragon Lizard pondered for a while and then said, "What will you do when you meet them? Will you kill them?" Honestly, I owed that kid a favor, and you had invited him to join the mysterious Sky Clan. Have you made up your mind yet? Tu Shirchi and his wife quieted down. After a while, Tu Shirchi said with a forced smile. Lingmei was the granddaughter of forefather Han Tian. If Shiyan's team killed her, it will be very hard for us to decide. Of course, if Shiyan agrees to join us with the Power Upanishad Symbol Tower, I think maybe forefather Han Tian will tolerate him. Yeah, Shiyan's attitude is the key. If he agrees to join the mysterious Sky Clan, we can avoid the dispute, said Yayun, otherwise, we will have to take action. We don't have another option. Or else, when forefather Han Tian knows this, we won't be able to explain it to him well. Agree with me and give him a chance to choose, said Dragon Lizard. Okay, Tu Shirchi nodded. Dragon Lizard exhaled in relief. He thought that he had repaid the kid's father. That's all he could do for him. They've left for only 3 days. They should be close by. Release the news. More people coming will force them out. Right, agreed Tu Shirchi. I am Adams and you are Masha. We're from the Heavenly Eye clan. I'm your senior. Shiyan was explaining to Meiji inside an emerald light cage. At this moment, their appearances had changed greatly. Shiyan had rearranged his skeleton and muscles to turn himself into Adam's appearance from what he could memorize. Then, he directed Meiji to change her beautiful face into Masha's. Adams and Masha were the members of the Heavenly Eye clan with certified identities. If they had their appearances, they could solve a lot of problems. Well, this senior and junior relationship doesn't sound normal, does it? Meiji thinned her lips and glanced at the arm placed around her waist. Shiyan wasn't embarrassed as he smiled deliberately. You shouldn't be like that. Your eyes are still so attractive. You need to dim the light in your eyes a little more. Moreover, the closed eye in your forehead should be a little more protruding. It's the unique mark of the Heavenly Eye clan. Is it okay now? Meiji was surprised. Her thoughts changed and her bright eyes became darker. She didn't look very attractive. Yeah, not very different, Shiyan nodded. Noticing the dark gleam in her eyes, he was baffled for a while before he could mutter, "Don't think about Yu Lian and the others." Sigh. Meiji sighed weakly. I can't let it go that quickly. Although I'm happy to go with you, I get so sad when I think about how they are all dead. You told me to dim my eyes. I suddenly remembered them. Shiyan contemplated for a few seconds and then told her, "Don't worry. I promise that I will help you kill Feral. I think you have been seeing many warriors go to this sea area lately. We killed Hussein. I'm sure they will guess that we're nearby." Meiji sounded heavy. Yeah, that's why we need to disguise ourselves. As long as we can conceal our auras, even when we face the ones seeking us, they won't know. Shiyan looked forward. Many warriors are doing something on our way ahead. We can't avoid them. We must act more carefully. Meiji nodded, I understand. I will try to get rid of my sorrow. I won't let it show on my face and affect our journey. The two of them used Adam's and Masha's disguise to move further. They slowed down and hid the sharp auras on their bodies. Half a day later. There's a troop in front of us. Pay attention. We can't fight people here because there are more troops around. Once the battle takes place, they will swarm us, said Shiyan all of a sudden. Meiji gently nodded. A group of 6 warriors rested inside the reefs on the seabed. The 6 of them were sitting on a rock and closing their eyes to adjust their breathing. Apparently, they were terrestrial warriors. They had to use the light cage to protect their bodies from the water pressure. It was the difference between warriors from the sea surface and warriors from the seabed. The members of the Sea clan dwelled undersea. They didn't need to use an energy light cage to protect their bodies. They were born with the gift of being immune to the horrible water pressure here. The 6 of them included 5 males and 1 female. They were from the human clan, the clan with the largest population in this vast sea of stars. Only the female expert in this group had second sky of Immortal Realm. The other 5 males were at first sky of Immortal Realm. The 5 males looked to be middle-aged as they had many wrinkles. They were recovering with calm faces. The second sky of Immortal Realm woman looked to be in her 40s. She had an average appearance, which wasn't as beautiful as Audrey in her disguise. However, the woman had elegant bearings that had made her more attractive. As the two groups were far from each other, the 5 men couldn't sense anything. However, the woman arched her brows, waking up and coughing slightly. The 5 middle-aged men shuddered and woke up. They bewilderedly looked at the woman. "Xiangrong, what happened?" asked a bony old man. The woman called Xiangrong stood up inside the green light cage and frowned. "Someone is coming." The 5 men jolted up immediately. They instinctively put her in the center of their protection. Although their realms were lower than hers, they had to protect this woman. Apparently, she had a high position. No need to be tense. Their auras aren't so strong. They can't threaten us. Xiangrong sensed and then sighed, "We shouldn't come here. I heard that Hussein was killed too. At our realms, we can't do anything. Haha, we're not here for the power Upanishad symbol tower. We just hope to find some traces to exchange for the rewards from the 5 clans," smiled the bony old man. "The rewards from the 5 clans are really precious. We're here to try our luck. I heard that the Seabed has many treasures and magical materials. If we encounter something, it will be worth the efforts we spent to get here." "Old Gu is right," nodded Xiangrong. "I couldn't see that point before." While they were talking, Shiyan and Meiji inside the light cage drifted toward them and looked at the 6 people of the human clan. Shiyan's eyes sparkled strangely. He focused on their clothes but didn't seem to talk to them. He kept a distance from them and just wanted to pass. He didn't want to raise any trouble. While they were watching Xiangrong's team also observed them. After they found that the others weren't the wanted ones, they felt both disappointed and lucky. "We're from the Potion and Tool League. We came to the Seabed to collect blacksmithing materials. Also, who are you?" Xiaorong suddenly greeted them smilingly. "Adams from the Heavenly Eye clan. This is Masha, my junior sister. We came to the Seabed to travel around," introduced Shiyan. He looked at the clothes on Xiangrong's body and found many strange symbols on the hems. He was a little surprised, indeed. While in Agate Star area, he happened to have the cannon of the Potion and Tool Pavilion, which he had handed to Fu Wei later. When he got it, he had checked and found similar symbols in the cannon. They weren't the absolute beginning characters as they were special symbols used in refining pellets and forging treasures. The symbols on Xiangrong's clothes were the same as the ones he had seen in the cannon. It surprised Shiyan discreetly. Potion and Tool Pavilion and Potion and Tool League. Was there a relationship between them? Shiyan was puzzled. Chapter 1448, Capture. Chapter 1448, Capture _ Shiyan knew a little bit about the Potion and Tool Pavilion's history. Rumors said that a man had traveled through a space passage in the Shadow Ghostly Prison to come to Agate Star area. That man had established Potion and Tool Pavilion. He had set up the rules and principles that had made Potion and Tool Pavilion the strongest commercial organization in Agate Star area. Apparently, that man wasn't from Agate Star area. Many years had passed and the first pavilion master of Potion and Tool Pavilion was dead. Shiyan had accidentally taken the cannon he had left. Today, when he saw the symbols on Xiangrong's clothes that were similar to what he had seen in the cannon and the others had introduced that they were from Potion and Tool League, Shiyan was moved. Of course, with the current dangerous situation, he wasn't interested in investigating the relationship between the two forces. He nodded to Xiangrong and the old men then continued his journey with Meiji. "Potion and Tool League? Have you ever heard about this force?" asked Shiyan suspiciously after they had gone past the others. As Meiji was the leader in charge of the Phantom Clan in the Sea of Annihilation, she knew many things in the area. If the Potion and Tool League was famous, Meiji should know about them. "Of course I have. They are a relatively strong force of the Human Clan. The Human Clan is the clan with the largest population in the vast Sea of Stars. The total number of their members is several times bigger than the entire 7 clans. Anyway, human warriors aren't good at cultivating. They are far behind the 7 clans. Thus, the 7 clans have ruled many territories of the Human Clan. Our Phantom Clan also has some human territories," explained Meiji. "Anyway, not all of them are weak. A small part of them is really powerful that even the 7 clans don't dare to ignore them. As there are so many of them, they have formed different forces. Potion and Tool League is a relatively strong force. They were formed by the human alchemists and blacksmiths to refine medicines and tools. They trade with us too. Generally speaking, they're just a normal force. They aren't stronger than the Water Tribe. They can hardly rebel against any clan among the 7 clans. Shiryen nodded. Did you see the special symbols on the woman's clothes? Are they some special ranks for the blacksmiths and alchemists? They are the special symbols worn by human blacksmiths and alchemists. They are nothing strange. Those special symbols represent their ranks and the material tool ranks too. Why did you notice them? Meiji sounded surprised. I found them special, said Shiryen. There are many forces gathering. We must be more cautious. We shouldn't talk much to the others, reminded Meiji. Right. Heavenly Eye Clan? I didn't expect that warriors from a weak race would come to the Seabed. They don't treasure their lives. After Shiryen and Meiji had left, Old Gu ridiculed. As I know, the Heavenly Eye Clan is just a third-class clan. They live in a remote territory where there are constant wars. Of course, they don't have good lives. Not many warriors can cultivate to high realms. The Immortal Realm warriors are the best ones in the Heavenly Eye Clan. But if they come here, the others can kill them easily. Everybody has his own way to survive. Xiang Ring smiled. Our cultivate bases aren't enough to protect us here. Still, we came to see if we're lucky, didn't we? That's true, said Old Gu. Boom. A small explosion came from a strange pendant on Xiang Rong's chest. She was baffled for a while before she took out a silver chain and observed the broken pendant. The pendant was broken, and it revealed a bizarre jade flake that was as big as a fingernail. It was glowing. Why is that? Xiang Rong was surprised. What's that? Old Gu sounded suspicious. It's a piece of the Power Upanishad symbol tower. A precursor in our league had it a long time ago. We kept it in the vault all the time. I took it out when we departed to the Seabed. I use a pendant to keep it. I was thinking that if this piece of Power Upanishad symbol tower can change somehow when it came close to a complete Power Upanishad symbol tower. Xiang Rong frowned. This piece was placed in the vault of the Potion and Tool League for so many years. It hadn't reacted or glowed even once. In fact, I decided to bring it this time for fun. I didn't think it could do anything. Old Gu was shaken, his eyes bright. Then why is it glowing now? Is it true that a Power Upanishad symbol tower is near? It seems that it has begun to send the energy after that Heavenly Eye Clan couple appeared. I didn't notice it at that time. But now, come to think of it, is it related to them? Xiang Rong's eyes brightened. Their appearances and race aren't what the 5 clans want to find. Are you sure it's them? Asked another middle-aged man. It's easy to change appearances. It's not important. Old Gu became excitedly. We're not sure now. We should follow them to check when we come close to them. If this piece is still glowing, we can be sure that the couple is the reason. Haha, we're going to be rich. Right. The others nodded. They were all stirred up. Be careful. Once we confirm that they're the wanted ones, we will leave immediately. Do not create any conflict. Xiang Rong frowned. If it's true, Meiji of the Phantom Clan is at the peak of Immortal Realm. She can kill us all single-handedly. We have to leave before they spot us. Xiang Rong is right, appraised Old Gu. All of a sudden, a group of 6 started following Shiryen and Meiji. Because Shiryen and Meiji were using Adam's and Masha's identities of the Heavenly Eye Clan, they had to slow down. Thus, the others could easily catch up with them. They are following us, Shiryen knitted his brows. Meiji was perplexed. Those warriors of the Potion and Tool League couldn't recognize us. Their realms aren't high enough and their Power Upanishads aren't something special. They must have some other purpose. Shiryen thought the same. Let's see what they're planning to do. He stopped and waited with Meiji inside the light cage. They turned around to look. 15 minutes later, Xiang Rong and the others emerged. Xiang Rong clutched the piece of the Power Upanishad symbol tower in her hand, her heart beating fast. As they got closer and closer to Shiryen, she could feel the energy rippling stronger. It was them. She screamed inwardly. Through the marvelous connection with the Power Upanishad symbol tower, she was sure that the Heavenly Eye clan couple in front of her were the ones that the 5 clans wanted. She tried to subside her excitement and maintain an indifferent and calm face. She halted and kept a safe distance with Shiryen and Meiji as she smiled. "We have some items from the Potion and Tool League that can support your Power Upanishads. I wonder if you're interested." Shiryen frowned and said impatiently, "Not interested." "Oh, so I shouldn't bother you guys more." Xiangrong wished that he would say so. Seeing him deny, she signaled Old Gu and the others. They left immediately, even faster than when they came. After they made some distance from Shiryen, Old Gu asked, "It is them, right?" "Yes, they are." Xiangrong hissed excitedly. Thrill appeared on her face and even in her movement. The broken piece reacted powerfully. It had almost flown out of my hand. It seemed to want to enter that Heavenly Eye clan man. "Excellent." Old Gu rubbed his beard. "We're lucky this time. When this is certified, we'll get the rewards from the 5 clans. Dash. No, it's not quite right. Shiryan's eyelid twitched. The Power Upanishad symbol tower emerged and landed on his palm. Swish. A strange jet of light shot from behind him and entered the Power Upanishad symbol tower. It was a small broken piece. After it touched the Power Upanishad symbol tower, it turned into powder and became some magical, pure energy. Shiryen and Meiji exchanged looks and their faces changed. Retrieving the Power Upanishad symbol tower, Shiryen snorted, then turned around with Meiji. They started dashing. Xiangrong's strong hand holding the piece of the Power Upanishad symbol tower was bleeding. She was horror-struck when the broken piece flew out of her hand. She screamed, "They know it." The other 5 men were scared out of their wits as they spoke hastily. "Move. Move. Immediately." Boom. An ice mountain stood in their way that released a ruthless, cold aura, which made them shiver. Shiryen emerged like a demon and shouted, "Don't kill them with force. It will draw attention. When more people come, we won't be able to run." While talking, he threw out a fantasy boundary stone that he got from Yuyun. After the fantasy boundary stone got the space energy, it turned into a world in just a blink of an eye. While Xiangrong's team was petrified, that world had covered them and captured them. Shortly, Xiangrong's group of 6 disappeared and left no trace. "Someone is coming. We must go now." Shiryen rose his hand and the world that the fantasy boundary stone had created flew into his sleeve. He and Meiji didn't dare to linger. They left immediately and disappeared. Not long after they had left, some small troops came. They observed carefully, their face perplexed. They got intelligence that Shiryen and Meiji could move around here. Thus, they had paid attention. Whenever they smelled something wrong, they hurried to check. After moving 1 round around this area, some of them confirmed a warrior with ice power Upanishad had taken action here. But there's no sign of a furious battle. Strange. Did something happen while the warrior was cultivating that made the warrior release ice energy? Then, where's that warrior? Who knows? They discussed, and they couldn't conclude the real situation. From this area as the center, they began to search around aimlessly. So close. Meiji's face still looked frightened. "I didn't expect that so many warriors were around us. Sai, if we had received information from Yulian, we wouldn't have been so passive." When they reached a relatively safe area, Meiji exhaled in relief and asked, "What should we do with them?" "After we confirm that everything is fine, we'll kill them," said Shiryen coldly. Chapter 1449, Run Into. Chapter 1449, Run Into, _ Boom, boom, boom. The fantasy boundary stone shattered. It twisted and blasted into pieces. The sharp space sabers jutted out. The 5 men had only first sky of Immortal Realm. When the space exploded, their bodies shattered into hundreds of pieces. Their soul altars were like broken glass. The woman called Xiangrong had the 2nd sky of Immortal Realm cultivation base. She had congregated all of her power to her soul altar to protect it. After her body exploded, her soul altar flew out. Xiangrong's host's soul floated above the soul altar. She looked at Shi Yan and was with fear. She saw Shi Yan release a black hole and take in the wisps of soul from Old Gu and the others. She was scared out of her wits. Eh? Shi Yan cried and looked at Xiangrong's soul altar. I can't believe that you were able to keep your soul altar after the fantasy boundary stone shattered. Tisk, it's true that a higher realm can make some difference. Xiangrong was horror-struck. She looked at Shi Yan and didn't know what to say. How did you verify our identities? Intervened Meiji. If I tell you the truth, will you spare my life? Xiangrong's soul flashed. If you agree to let me live, I will tell you everything. Live? Meiji smiled in surprise. You ask him. Xiangrong's eyes were begging as she turned to Shi Yan. Spare my life and I will tell you everything I know. It's not that complicated. Shi Yan frowned and said coldly, after I swallow your soul altar, I can extract your memories. It just takes a bit of effort. From the day you came to the seabed, you should have thought about today. Don't blame me for being cruel. Then, he didn't give Xiangrong more time to beg. The devouring power Upanishad moved and sucked Xiangrong's soul altar. This area was a distance from the besiege over there. No troops were patrolling here. Countless tufts of algae were swaying with the water current, which looked like scattered cotton that provided places to hide. Shi Yan and Meiji were inside a big cluster of algae. This kind of algae was so magical that it was able to cut off the sensitive soul somehow. After Xiangrong's soul altar was taken in, Shi Yan immediately sat down cross-legged and retrieved the black hole into the tier of power Upanishad. He used the soul consciousness to search her memories. He could only apply this method to extract the memories from a complete soul altar that he had taken. It was going to be very hard to extract memories from a shattered soul altar like Old Gu's. The soul fragments were countless broken memory seals. It was almost impossible to recover them. Thus, he wasn't going to waste his energy on Old Gu's and the others. Countless wisps of memories shot out of the black hole like electric beams. Sharp images flashed in Shi Yan's head. It's a small piece of the power Upanishad symbol tower. It's unknown where the Potion and Tool League had gotten it. That piece of power Upanishad symbol tower could find the complete power Upanishad symbol tower. After I took the power Upanishad symbol tower out of my incipient extent, it proactively came and merged with the tower. Shi Yan squinted as he was reading the memories and explaining them to Meiji at the same time. It's strange. After that piece of jade got into the power Upanishad symbol tower, some unclear absolute beginning symbols had also come to my brain. Shi Yan opened his eyes and pointed at his head. I don't know if this power Upanishad symbol tower now has a relationship with the devouring power Upanishad after I have taken it. It can gather the other pieces of the power Upanishad symbol tower. I can feel some vague change anyway. Is it possible? Meiji looked surprised. It's just my guess. Shi Yan chuckled, squinting and searching the memories related to the Potion and Tool League from Xiangrong's soul. The Potion and Tool League was a human force with a long history. Each elder of the Potion and Tool League had mastered refining and blacksmithing techniques. They had battleships that were essentially moving cities that could visit big territories to find rare materials for blacksmithing or making medicines. The elders of Potion and Tool League refined pellets and forged tools to exchange for techniques, medical books, and secret treasures. That's how they advanced their cultivation. A strange piece of a memory caught Shi Yan's attention. It was related to an expert. In the long history of Potion and Tool League, there used to be an excellent blacksmith who was rumored to have grasped the marvelous technique to refine absolute beginning divine weapons. That man had consumed a lot of rare and precious materials of Potion and Tool League to refine a half-complete divine weapon. Everybody in Potion and Tool League feared for him. The peerless attainment in blacksmithing of that blacksmith had thrilled the 7 clans. To have him, the 7 clans had sent their hotshots to the Potion and Tool League to invite him. The Soul Clan had abducted him in the end. On the way, the mysterious Sky Clan came and vied for that man with the Soul Clan. They engaged in furious combat, and the man took that chance to flee away. He disappeared from the sea domain of nihility since then. Rumors said that he had the treasured book of the Potion and Tool League, which was written in special symbols that used to refine or forge tools. The Potion and Tool League gave him the treasured book to record his experience in forging the absolute beginning divine weapon. Shi Yan extracted and observed Xiang Rong's memories. He was moved, his eyes sparkling in a strange light. Was he the founder of Potion and Tool Pavilion in Agate Star area? The first pavilion master who had built the entire Potion and Tool Pavilion? Was the cannon, an important item to certify the pavilion master of Potion and Tool Pavilion in Agate Star area, the treasured book that the Potion and Tool League had mentioned? That book had the records of refining an absolute beginning divine weapon. Shi Yan was surprised. He felt uncertain. After he had gone to the sea domain of nihility, he knew how precious absolute beginning divine weapons were. If someone could refine an absolute beginning divine weapon, of course, many clans and forces were going to vie for him. The cannon was in Fu Wei's hands. She was the current pavilion master of the Potion and Tool Pavilion with outstanding refining attainment. Was it predestined? Shi Yan didn't know whether he should cry or smile. Potion and Tool Pavilion, Potion and Tool League, and the refining treasured book. Am I the tie that is connecting them all? If not, why was I able to encounter them? What did you say? Asked Meiji. The Potion and Tool League used to have a blacksmith who could refine a half-complete absolute beginning divine weapon. Do your Phantom clan have any records about him? Asked Shi Yan. Yeah, there was a man like that. He was a genius who had dedicated his entire life to forging tools. It was a long, long time ago. He had refined a half-complete absolute beginning divine weapon. It was thrilling news to the 7 clans. Because of him, the Soul Clan and the mysterious Sky Clan fought a furious battle. Many experts were killed back then. That battle was the ignition to the long-time war between the Soul Clan and the mysterious. Unfortunately, that expert had disappeared. After so many years, he must be gone. No one knows if his records exist or not. Why do you ask? Meiji was surprised. Shi Yan smiled and didn't answer. He had decided to talk to Fu Wei about this once he got back to desolate territory. 3 shadows were gliding through the seabed. All of a sudden, one of them halted and frowned. Her eyes were filled with joy. I spotted the aura of the Fantasy Boundary Stone. Forefather Dragon Lizard's clone was surprised. Why do you care about the Fantasy Boundary Stone? However, Tu Shirchi knew the situation. He looked cheered up. Are you sure it's the Fantasy Boundary Stone that you gave him? Of course. Yao Yun was certain. I'd kept those Fantasy Boundary Stone for years. I'm sure I can feel their auras. I'm sure it's the Fantasy Boundary Stone that I gave away. Oh, the shockwaves of the explosion came from that area. Her finger pointed to a direction. Shi Yan should be there. Tu Shirchi pulled a stern face and took a deep breath. We're heading there. It seems like we'll get the result after searching for a long time. If it's true, I'm not sure if we can hold them back. You guys have to prepare, Dragon Lizard pondered. Gon Fu of the Devouring Clan was killed. It means that they have an expert in their team. My real body can't come here. If that expert is with them, we'll hardly be able to defeat them. Should we release the news to attract more people? Tu Shirchi hesitated. If so, they will all be killed, no doubt. You should remember that you've agreed with me to give them a chance to choose. Dragon Lizard wore a grimace. Then we should go there directly. Tu Shirchi sighed. Then, they moved at their max speed. Dash. Ahem. Do you need me to help you deal with the backfire of the devouring power Upanishad? Deep inside the field of algae, Meiji was embarrassed as she asked. Her watery eyes were filled with a shy passion. Shi Yan was using the devouring power Upanishad to swallow and refine Xiangrong's team's essence chi. He was bewildered for a while as he said, no one in this group of 6 has dark energy. I won't be backfired by negative energy. Okay, never mind. Meiji felt so awkward, her face blushing. She scolded Shi Yan for not understanding the romantic signals. She felt her teeth get itchy too. Shi Yan could see her charming, sexy gestures. He understood it immediately. But if you help me, I won't need to distract my mind just to deal with those negative energy. Directly releasing is the most comfortable way to me. Come, sit on my lap, he grinned and said deliberately. Meiji was both happy and shy when he said that. She suppressed her excitement as she said seriously, forget it. You can deal with it yourself. I won't help you. Come here as you're told. Shiryen grinned inwardly as he pulled a stern face. You should know that I like obedient women. Meiji thinned her lips as she said, all right. She actually felt so happy when she moved towards him. Right at this moment, Shiryan's face darkened as he jolted up. As Meiji was bewildered, he hissed, come, old friends. Long time no see. Your sensitivity has gotten much better. I can't believe that this kid at Incipient God Realm from that year now became a big character that the 5 clans are crazy for. Dragon Lizard smiled and glided through tufts of algae. Chapter 1450, Deny Flatly. Chapter 1450, Deny Flatly, _ Forefather Dragon Lizard. Meiji discolored slightly. An ice crystal emerged from her body. The cold energy had chilled down the entire sea area. Forefather Dragon Lizard was at the peak of Immortal Realm. He just needed one more step to enter the Territory Ancestor Realm. As the direct line children of Lizard, the absolute beginning creature, Dragon Lizard had many supernatural powers of the absolute beginning creatures. As they were both at the peak of Immortal Realm, if they fought with their lives, Meiji wasn't sure if she could win. Of course, she didn't know that Forefather Dragon Lizard's real body wasn't here. Thus, she looked like she was facing her archenemy. And us, here, Tu Shirchi sighed and held Jaeyun's hands, appearing in front of Shiryen with complicated faces. What are you here for? Shiryen was calm and natural. For the power Upanishad symbol tower. While talking, Shiryen and Meiji had transformed back to their real appearances. Masha and Adam's disguise could deceive the others, but they couldn't fool Dragon Lizard, Tu Shirchi, and Jaeyun. They had met Adams and Masha, so they knew that Adams and Mash wouldn't be in the Sea of Annihilation. Not only because of the power Upanishad symbol tower, Jaeyun forced a smile. Lingmei was dead. We have to give Forefather Han Tian an answer. She was his granddaughter. Although Forefather is cultivating in seclusion, we're in the Sea of Annihilation. If we don't do anything, we won't be able to see him later. We know each other. I don't want to be your enemy. I just have a question. How did Lingmei die? Asked Tu Shirchi begrudgingly. Meiji opened her mouth. I killed her. Shiryen intervened. Lingmei wanted to kill me and rob the power Upanishad symbol tower. Should I wait for her to kill me? I'm not evil. She provoked me. I killed her. What else do I need to say? Meiji was surprised. Her bright eyes flared with a strange light. She killed Lingmei and she was about to admit that. Unexpectedly, Shiryen admitted the crime instead of her. She couldn't explain why he did that. Don't joke about this. Forefather Dragon Lizard laughed strangely and shook his head disbelievingly. Kid, you're at first sky of Immortal Realm. You think you can kill Lingmei? Although I had never met Lingmei before, I know it's not easy to murder an expert at the peak of Immortal Realm. He tried to give Shiryen a way out. It wasn't just you two, right? Tu Shirchi agreed with Dragon Lizard. Gon Fu of the Devouring Clan was confirmed dead. Experts with dark energy aren't something you two can deal with. Tu Shirchi's eyes sparkled. He observed and asked, where are they? He was right. He knew that other people had joined this besides Shiryen and Meiji. However, they didn't expect that Shiryen had parted with the God Lord and others. They aren't here. I killed Lingmei. It's true, whether you believe it or not. Shiryen was stiff, his face dark. When you came to the seabed, we weren't friends anymore. Don't babble, what do you want from me? Of course, Tu Shirchi and Jaeyun came to the deep seabed not only just to confirm Lingmei's death. They also bore something else. Shiryen knew he had no way to subside this. He had his own calculations. Thus, he didn't need to pretend to befriend them. I agreed with Brother Dragon Lizard that as long as you give us a clear answer and bring the power Upanishad symbol tower to join our mysterious Sky Clan, we will explain everything with Forefather Han Tian. We can ensure that you will be safe and sound, said Tu Shirchi with a stern face as he pounded his chest affirmatively. Don't worry. You will be a non-native officer of our mysterious Sky Clan. You will receive more benefits, and it will be much better than cultivating alone. It's true. Even if you have the power Upanishad symbol tower, you can't refine the absolute beginning original symbol by yourself. Yun advised him. Moreover, the 5 clans are searching for you. You can't escape. If we can find you, the others can too. As long as you agree to join our mysterious Sky Clan, we will ask our seniors to deal with the Black Demon Clan, the Devouring Clan, the Soul Clan, and the Ancient Monster Clan about your murder cases. Kid, although the sea domain of Nihility is a massive area, you've offended the 5 clans. You won't find a safe place to go to. Their offers aren't bad. Go with them, said Forefather Dragon Lizard. Shiryen frowned, her face indifferent. What if I don't agree? Dragon Lizard shrugged and said begrudgingly. Then don't blame me. I've agreed with the mysterious Sky Clan. I will join Tu Shirchi to deal with you. How about you too? Shiryen squinted. To have a proper answer to Forefather Hantian, we can only try our best to deal with you and take the power Upanishad symbol tower. Of course, we won't kill you. We will only capture you. Then, we will let the 5 clans judge you, said Tu Shirchi. Then come here, Shiryen said in a low-pitched voice. What? Forefather was shocked. Come catch me, Shiryen's eyes turned crimson quickly. Sharp spikes protruded from his skin. A pair of bone wings jutted out of his back. He had transformed into his fighting mode in just a blink of an eye. Life energy surged in every inch of his skin and bones. The thick murderous aura came out of his acupuncture points and shot a visible blood-red light column into the sky. The massive energy field could cut apart even the water and create a vacuum area around him. What a powerful life energy magnetic field, shouted Forefather Dragon Lizard, his face frightened. The fiercer the life energy field was, the higher the life form he reached. Shiryen had transformed to his supreme fighting form, and the life energy from his body had almost reached Forefather Dragon Lizard's level. Dragon Lizard's real body could be as big as a small life star. Shiryen's body was so small, but it contained an intimidating life magnetic field, which meant that his life form had evolved to a level high enough to shake Dragon Lizard. Kid, you're a freak. When I met you, your life energy field was thin and weak. Now, you've reached such a new height. It's amazing, really. Aside from him, Tu Shirchi and Meiji were also shaken. Meiji knew that Shiryen got a great benefit after they had sex. But they hadn't undergone a fierce battle afterward. Thus, he hadn't used his fighting form. She couldn't know how advanced his life form was. But now, she knew that Shiryen's life energy magnetic field could compare to the experts who were about to enter the territory ancestor realm. Really powerful, indeed. Tu Shirchi looked bitter. Sigh, that little girl Ling Mei didn't listen to us. It's really bad. It would have been so good now if she didn't have a dispute with you guys. Right now, even though we know you're really bold, we have to take action. We're the members of the mysterious Sky Clan anyway. I'm sorry. It's not our own volition, sighed Ji-yoon. You don't need to take action, Meiji beamed. Although your life magnetic field is abundant, you're at only first sky of Immortal Realm. I can handle them single-handedly. Fulgent snow lotuses bloomed from her chest. They were glowing in a mesmerizing white halo. Each lotus was chilly to the bone. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. So many snow lotuses flew out one by one from her ample bosom. They moved like an icy world and attacked Tu Shirchi, Ji-yoon, and Forefather Dragon Lizard. At the beginning, Dragon Lizard, Tu Shirchi, and Ji-yoon disdained her because they knew that Meiji had been badly wounded. When a peak of Immortal Realm expert got wounded, it was tough to recover quickly. Thus, they weren't worried about her. However, when so many snow lotuses came to them and released cold energy, they knew that they were wrong. At this moment, Meiji was much more intimidating than when she was on Dragon Lizard Star. At that time, Meiji could subdue Tu Shirchi and his wife by herself. Today, Meiji's wounds healed and she had dark energy. Shiryen's vitality had refined her body too. She was now in her supreme condition. Meiji's face appeared in each lotus with different expressions. She was either smiling, winking, wincing, or staying calm. They were the powers of her soul. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Cold, Murky jets of terrifying energy shot through the water like icicles stabbing the other three. Even Forefather Dragon Lizard went numb. It looked like he had surging lava in his eyes. Letting out a low roar, his clone released a phantom of his real body. A majestic, mountain-like beast emerged and roared at Meiji's face. If Shuryen hadn't bothered me with his world-within-world fantasy boundary stones when we were on Dragon Lizard Star, I'm afraid that you would have been killed. As you have only third sky of Immortal Realm, you're as strong as Lingmei. Lingmei died by my hands. What do you think you can do? Meiji smiled, her eyes as cold as ice. Countless snow lotuses fell. Tu Shichi and Yayun felt extremely cold, their faces heavy. Melt! Forefather Dragon Lizard hissed and roared. The phantom of a giant beast became so hot as it was burning. It struggled on the seabed and used its big claws to hit the snow lotuses. It's useless, Meiji changed her techniques gently. So many snow lotuses released a cold light. They weren't afraid of the beast as if they were immortal flowers. If your real body is here, I'm not sure if I can't cope with you. But now, you're just a clone. You can't trouble me that much. Peak of Glacier. Meiji pitched her voice. An ice mountain was conjured, and it fell on the back of the giant beast. The beast was subdued and frozen. It couldn't even move to attack her further. Crack! Shuryen raised one finger. 5 meteor-like arrows shot and destroyed Forefather Dragon Lizard's phantom. Dragon Lizard shivered and couldn't help but scream in agony. Let's go! Shuryen didn't attack more and called for Meiji. Meiji was surprised, but she didn't say much. She nodded to him and retrieved the snow lotuses. They left quickly. Forefather Dragon Lizard and Tu Shichi grimaced. They hovered but didn't chase after the others. Why did we have to leave? Asked Meiji skeptically after they had left for a while. You and I could kill them, couldn't we? Big commotions could draw really powerful experts. Moreover, Forefather Dragon Lizard hasn't used his best powers yet. If he decides to destroy this clone to battle us, we can still get hurt even if we win. In this area, when we get hurt, we will have no chance to run or hide, Shuryen answered her calmly. Meiji contemplated and then nodded, you're right. It's not our objective to kill many people. Our goal is to survive. Chapter 1451, Hiro. Chapter 1451, Hiro, _. Deep inside an algae field, Forefather Dragon Lizard, Tu Shichi, and Yayun stayed idle, their faces stiff and blank. After a long time, Forefather Dragon Lizard said bitterly, that kid. Why is he with Meiji? I remembered that Meiji had chased after him to kill him. She didn't hesitate to drain her power to do that. And now, did you see that they were sticking together like a couple? Meiji listened to everything he told her. It's strange. Tu Shichi didn't understand, either. Only the ghosts know how he could do that. Meiji has approached him and protected him for the power Upanishad symbol tower on purpose, maybe? Guessed Yayun. Listening to him, Forefather Dragon Lizard and Tu Shichi nodded. They thought that sounded more probable. What should we do now? Forefather Dragon Lizard looked begrudgingly. My body isn't here yet. Meiji's wounds recovered. She's tougher to deal with now. If we risk our lives with her, I think we will lose at the end. Wait until the hotshots come, sighed Yayun. The hotshots won't come for the time being. Even if they come, they will be late. It's really hard to solve this now. Tu Shichi pondered for a while and then decided, we can only release information. What if we only benefit the others? The old freak of the Soul Clan is in the Sea of Annihilation now. Whenever he gets news, he responds quickly. If he gets the power Upanishad symbol tower, our efforts will have been for nothing. Yeah, Yayun shook her head. I have a good relationship with a friend from the Whitebone clan. Recently, they're trying hard to find the experts with life power Upanishad. He asked me to pay attention. Shuryen mastered the life power Upanishad, and it's possible that the absolute beginning original symbol he got from the power Upanishad symbol tower is a life original symbol. Tu Shichi's eyes brightened. You're right. The absolute beginning original symbol he has is a life original symbol. I'm certain about this. Forefather Dragon Lizard nodded. This time, the life energy magnetic field from him is too thick. It's unimaginable, though. Except for the power of the absolute beginning original symbol, I can't think of anything else. Then I will contact my friend from the White Bone clan. Let's see if they're interested in this. Too sure Chi made up his mind. It was an island in the Sea of Annihilation, which was filled with white bones. Those bones came from members of different races. They were white and had surging energy. It was the base of the White Bone clan in the Sea of Annihilation. Lately, a Skull Island had come and anchored here. A child of the White Bone clan had landed on this bone island. He spoke the oldest language of the White Bone clan. His appearance had shaken the entire White Bone clan. He brought with him his parents, the two dormant, territory ancestor realm experts. The entire Bone Island was in high spirits because of the little skeleton. It had received the warmest welcome here too. The Skull Island had merged with the Bone Island and become a part of it. The members of the White Bone clan brought the two precursors to their bone burial pond deep inside the Bone Island. They had tried all the secret techniques to wake them up. However, as the two had spent all of their vitality and left only a wisp of the feeble soul, the bone burial pond couldn't wake their consciousness up. The members of the White Bone clan quickly recognized that they needed to pour vitality into them in order to wake them up. Thus, they began to find the warriors with a strong life power Upanishad. They had promised generous rewards to find more experts. However, they weren't lucky because there weren't many warriors cultivating life power Upanishad, let alone ones with high realms. After a long time, only around 10 warriors had come. However, the highest realm of them was only at original God realm. The support from them was just an added grain of salt in the sea. The little skeleton's parents needed a lot more to be awakened. Because of the two dormant precursors at the territory ancestor realm came to the island, all the White Bone clan's efforts were gathered here. Thus, they didn't really care about the power Upanishad symbol tower under the sea. They didn't send any member to go and explore the seabed. The bone burial pond in the center of the Bone Island was covered with jades. The little skeleton was sitting by the pond and watching the two coffins, his eyes upset. "Child, don't grieve too much. I'm sure we can wake them up," said an old man of the White Bone clan in their special language. "The true expert of our clan will come soon. They will know how." The little skeleton nodded quietly. One day, while the little skeleton was sitting still, a white light came from the sky. A massive skull island emerged in his vision and anchored by the island. Many strong warriors of the White Bone clan appeared on the island. They were following a midget, old man who slowly laned from the sky. The White Bone clan members on the Bone Island kneeled down to welcome them cheerfully. The old man from the White Bone clan who had just arrived was about 1 meter tall. He wasn't even taller than the little skeleton. He was holding a strange bone staff, which made him look like he had 3 legs. As soon as he landed, his eyes twinkled. He went to the little skeleton and raised his jade-like bony hand to stroke the little skeleton. He mumbled, "Good lumber. Beautiful jade. You're their kid, indeed. I can't believe they finally reappeared." "You know my parents?" asked the little skeleton in the White Bone clan's language. The old man looked at him lovingly. "Of course. They are my precursor. As you're their child, you're from the same generation as me." Then, he took the little skeleton to the pond where the 2 coffins were laying. He stooped to see and said, "They need an enormous amount of vitality to wake up. If I cultivated life power Upanishad, I could have awakened them. Too bad that I don't." He turned to the crowd next to him. "It has been a long time. Is there anyone with a strong power Upanishad?" "No," they shook their heads. The old man looked disappointed. "We'll wait here for a while. Afterward, I will take them back to our clan. We will get more people to think about a solution." The old man stayed on the Bone Island and taught the little skeleton a lot of common knowledge, secrets, and marvels of power Upanishads and dark energy. This old man was one of the territory ancestor realm experts of the White Bone clan. He was also a famous expert in this vast sea of stars. With his teaching, the little skeleton gradually learned about the White Bone clan, the sea domain of nihility. He advanced his cultivation of power Upanishads. A secret bone pond inside the Bone Island was activated. They then melted many strange and rare materials that they had collected in the pond to refine the little skeleton's bone body, directed by the old man. Streams of ivory fluid seeped into the little skeleton. His white bone became more transparent and sparkly with brilliant starlight. If you want to see dark energy, your life magnetic field must have evolved sufficiently. You have to quench your body first. The body that your parent had gifted you is very fine. You're the luckiest in our clan's history. With this bone pond, you will thrive faster. The old man was sitting by the pond and watching the streams of fluid running into the pond. The little skeleton was using its star power to absorb it while listening to the old man's patient explanation. "Tribal oldie, I have something to report," asked a member of the Whitebone clan from a far distance. After he was permitted, he stepped forward and said, "Tusherchi of the mysterious Sky clan has contacted me. He said that he found the one who the 5 clans wanted undersea. That man cultivates life power Upanishad, and he has the life original symbol from the power Upanishad symbol tower. That man is called Shiryen. Tusherchi couldn't capture him. As he knows you're here, he asked us if we're interested in this." Shiryen, the little skeleton, was cultivating in the pond. His eyes brightened. "He's the one I told you about. He got me back here, and he told me that he would help me wake up my parents." "Are you sure it's him?" The old man's eyes were like a monstrous, burning flame. "It's him. I heard the woman call him that." "That woman is called Meiji," said the little skeleton. The old man looked at the reporter. The other nodded continuously. "Yeah, it's Meiji from the Phantom clan. They're going with each other. He cultivates life power Upanishad, and he happened to get the absolute beginning original symbol of life power Upanishad. He had even brought you back here. It's predestined." The old man nodded. "Tell Tusherchi that we're interested. Tell him I will go to the seabed myself. He just needs to tell me the directions." "I understand." The reporter walked out respectfully. "He helped me earlier. I want him to live a long life," said the little skeleton. The old man was calm. "Showing gratitude is our Whitebone clan's pretty values. We won't do despicable things. I will bring him here. After I find him, he'll be fine." "Thank you," regarded the little skeleton. "You're my cousin. I am Hiro. After you were born, my uncle and aunt went dormant. They haven't named you yet. We're not hurried. After they wake up, they will name you," Hiro said seriously. "You're my little cousin, my closet family. Our Whitebone clan doesn't have many members. We must stay close to each other. Family members won't compete against each O'Hare. It's the reason why we have the smallest population, but we can stand proudly in this sea domain of nihility." "I understand," replied the little skeleton. "All right, you stay here and cultivate. I'm going to the seabed to get him." Hiro stood up. He was even shorter than the little skeleton, but his aura had made the members of the Whitebone clan admire him a lot. "Cousin, please be careful," said the little skeleton all of a sudden. "Don't worry. In this sea of annihilation, I don't have a rival right now," Hiro said arrogantly. He left the Bone Island and dove into the Sea of Annihilation's seabed alone. Tusherchi, Yayun, and Forefather Dragon Lizard were deep in an algae field. Tusherchi was holding a rock in his hand and sensing. Yayun and Forefather Dragon Lizard were watching him. They knew that he was communicating with a member of the Whitebone clan. They were waiting with the hope that the Whitebone clan would send some expert to help them. Hiro decided to come personally. After a while, Tusherchi announced, his face excited. "Hiro?" Forefather Dragon Lizard was perplexed. "Is it the Hiro, one of the 10 great territory ancestors?" "It's him." Tusherchi nodded certainly. "It's bustling this time. Emperor Sea Star, Neptune, and Feral have come. Today, Hiro decided to come too." "Interesting." Forefather Dragon Lizard looked excited. "I have longed for the battle between the territory ancestors. Perhaps I can watch them to learn dark energy." Chapter 1452, Emperor Sea Shark. Chapter 1452, Emperor Sea Shark, _ Deep in the blue sea. A majestic glass palace the size of a small kingdom was moving on the seabed like a giant fish. This palace had so many crystal towers with piles of jades, corals, and precious gemstones. It was indeed grand and luxurious. Several thousand warriors of the Sea Clan were staying inside that crystal palace. They all had strange figures and relatively high realms with cold and calm auras. The entire glass palace was like an island made of 10 high towers. The central hall was hundreds of meters tall. Atop the conical tower, Emperor Sea Shark squinted, his face serene. A Sea Clan warrior kneeled behind him and reported in a low voice, "3 more crews have disappeared mysteriously. They were close to us." Emperor Sea Shark closed his eyes. After pondering for a while, he rose one finger. A water current created an arrow and pointed in a direction. So many shadows glowed dimly. Our men died right where those shadows are. From when they disappeared, we could guess which way their killer went. The warrior's eyes brightened. From what we observed, they're pretty close by. Emperor Sea Shark nodded. A strange light sparkled in his eyes. Countless wisps of energy that were like a tsunami rippled from his body. The grand palace slowly ceased. His energy covered the entire palace and made it invisible. We shall wait for them. Deep inside a sea area, the bodies of the 5 dead Sea Clan warriors were buried. Their vitality and aura vanished. Shiryen wore a calm face and sat cross-legged. By him, Meiji was like an ice sculpture of a goddess with ice covering her entirely. The transparent ice made her beautiful in a different way. Swish, swish, swish. The sound of something freezing arose. From Meiji, the seawater was slowly freezing. In 10 breaths, she created a glacier and hid her body. Flows of cold energy expanded from the glacier and the seawater became very cold. Inside the glacier, Meiji's breathing was long and her eyebrows were transparent like the ice. She was wearing a long, bright silver dress, which outlined her curves. In the extremely cold energy, she looked refreshed. After a while, the glacier melted. She got out of the ice, her eyes bright and joyful. Her god power had become more refined and abundant. Because of the dark energy's existence, she was getting closer to the territory ancestor realm every day. Today, she tried to transform her incipient extent to the territory, which was going to become her foundation to enter the territory ancestor realm. After parting with Forefather Dragon Lizard and 2 Shirchi, she and Shiryen had moved fiercely and killed all the warriors in their way. Every time after they killed the warriors, Shiryen had used the devouring power Upanishad to absorb and share pure energy with her. While her god power, soul, and body were advancing, she also changed to enjoy an indescribable pleasure of intimacy. She got used to and she thought she was sinking as she began to enjoy this erotic and yet dangerous adventure. Her power had been increasing every day. Every time she felt sweet, Shiryen's image got carved more deeply into her soul and heart. She looked at Shiryen with sincere feelings in her bright eyes. She was confident that she could compete with territory ancestor realm experts. Even if Batum had come back from death, she was confident that she would defeat him. She didn't know how strong Shiryen was now. However, she knew that he was indeed intimidating because more than anyone, she understood the great benefits that the devouring power Upanishad had brought him. She also knew that Shiryen always used the energy refined by the devouring power Upanishad to quench his body. As he felt her watching, Shiryen opened his eyes and chuckled. "How do you feel?" "Couldn't have been better," smiled Meiji. "How about you? When can you reach second sky of Immortal Realm?" "It's not far. I just need to understand my power Upanishads better. Whenever I meditate, I can feel the subtle but magical change of my power Upanishads." Shiryen contemplated. "I can't rush. The accumulation of body, soul, and god power also benefits me a lot. At our current speed, we're around 1 year from the territory entrance. I know it will be pretty tough later. I don't want to finish this trip." Meiji walked forward and pulled his hand while pressing her voluptuous body against his. "This trip has been the most beautiful experience in my entire life. Even if I die, I won't regret it." Shiryen didn't say more. He turned around and pulled her into his tight embrace. In this deep blue sea, they looked at each other, smiled, and continued their journey. "I don't know why I can't ease my restless mind after we entered the sea area. I feel bound as if I've been caged. Today, Shiryen said with a dark face while moving inside his starlight protection. They were very far from their first stop. Shiryen had released his soul consciousness to sense around. He didn't find any commotion or aura of living beings. Logically, they had pierced through a dangerous zone. However, after a while of strange calmness and quietness, Shiryen felt that something wasn't right. We didn't find any warrior along the way. It's not normal. Meiji wore a serene face when he said that. Yeah, it has been strangely smooth lately. I always feel like something is wrong, Shiryen frowned, but I can't tell why. I don't know what's the matter. Anyway, we have to be more cautious. Okay. Several days later, they came to a beautiful area where so many magnificent jellyfish looked like 5 colored lanterns shining above their heads. The lights from them were so mesmerizing. As they were moving under the jellyfish, the dreamy scene above their heads had captured their minds for a while. However, shortly after, Shiryen discolored and said, "Those jellyfish have weak soul energy fluctuations. They're possibly the eyes that some expert released." Meiji was surprised. She knew that it wasn't going well. If so, we're disclosed. We have to leave as fast as we can. Shiryen didn't say much and brought Meiji at the max speed toward the territory entrance. However, after 100 miles, his light cage bounced back as if it had bumped into an invisible barrier. Shiryen and Meiji were frightened. They knew that their assumption was correct. Unknowingly, they had entered a trap that someone had set up for them. Right behind them, a grand crystal palace slowly emerged with countless cold-faced Sea Clan warriors. An old Sea Clan expert was standing on the highest tower of the palace in the center. He looked at them from a far distance and said deliberately, "We've been waiting for you for a long time." Emperor Sea Shark. Meiji couldn't help but scream. "You guys have killed more than 10 of my crews. By the time they were killed, I figured out your route. We've been hiding here and waiting for you for a long time. Yeah, after 10 days, you finally showed up. You didn't fail me, indeed." Emperor Sea Shark pitched his voice. "Meiji, I know you. I don't want to provoke your Phantom Clan. I'm going to make my request clear right now." "Say it." Meiji's expression was extremely stern. "I've talked to Neptune and made a deal with him. Anyway, because of you, Meiji, I will give you away." Emperor Sea Shark's voice was cold and nonchalant. "You tell him to hand over the Power Upanishad Symbol Tower and the Absolute Beginning Original Symbol. I will let you go as if I have never seen you. It's the best deal I can give you." Emperor Sea Shark had agreed with Neptune that if he found Shiryen and Meiji, he would tell Neptune first. However, Emperor Sea Shark had his own plans. According to Neptune, once he told him Shiryen and Meiji's whereabouts, they wouldn't be able to escape death, and he wouldn't be able to get the Power Upanishad Symbol Tower and Absolute Beginning Original Symbol, either. Neptune would take them all. Neptune had promised Emperor Sea Shark to refine him an Absolute Beginning Original Symbol first. Anyway, Emperor Sea Shark knew there was a better option. Taking the Power Upanishad Symbol Tower and Absolute Beginning Original Symbol without offending the Phantom Clan, wasn't that a better option? Who is he? Shiryen pulled himself together. He knew it would be the toughest step in this undersea journey. "I can sense that he's a Territory Ancestor Realm expert. His aura is really domineering." Emperor Sea Shark is the overlord of the Seabed at First Sky of Territory Ancestor Realm. He's always cultivating under the sea. He rarely leaves the seabed. "The 7 great clans don't want to mess with him," said Meiji in a low-pitched tone. "He's Neptune's friend. Anyway, I think their friendship isn't good enough. Otherwise, he would kill us without talking." "Tribal oldie, what about our dead fellows?" screamed a Sea Clan warrior. Emperor Sea Shark looked cold as he said, "The Power Upanishad Symbol Tower and the Absolute Beginning Original Symbol are the prices that they have to pay for my grandchildren's death. If they agree to hand the items over, we can save a lot of effort." He had his own concerns. Although he was at the Territory Ancestor Realm, if he had to forcefully antagonize a force like the Phantom Clan, he wasn't so sure. He didn't want to let Neptune make use of him. If he killed Meiji, the Phantom experts would come to the seabed. Taking the Power Upanishad symbol tower and the absolute beginning original symbol without enraging the Phantom Clan was the best thing to do. I'll give you 15 minutes to consider it. Emperor Sea Shark stood on his throne and spoke. Meiji, you're a smart woman. You know when to let it go. Swoosh. Countless layers of barriers were conjured. They covered the starlight cage to prevent the soul consciousness from sensing and eavesdropping. He's really strong at first sky of territory ancestor realm. We can try to defeat him. But I'm not so sure. Meiji looked bitter. Because I have been growing fast lately, I'm considering it. Otherwise, I wouldn't even have the guts to fight him once. Shiryen furrowed his brows, the first sky of territory ancestor realm. His incipient extent has evolved into the territory. He has dark energy. Indeed, he's an extreme opponent. We can't succeed. Once we're defeated, I know it won't be easy to talk to him again, said Meiji. Shiryen lifted his head and looked at Emperor Sea Shark, his voice low. I've swallowed a lot of soul altars lately. My body, soul altars, and god power all transformed to many different levels. I feel great, but fighting against a territory ancestor is over my capacity, I think. But I still want to try. I want to know to what degree I can reach if I use all of my powers. Do you want to fight? Meiji was frightened as she spoke resolutely. No, absolutely not. You're at first sky of immortal realm. Too low. Let me try beating Emperor Sea Shark. If we can't, just give him the Power Upanishad symbol tower. You're still young. You don't need to sacrifice yourself. You will have chances to make up the fight today. The absolute beginning original symbol has fused with my Power Upanishad. I don't know how to take it out. The Power Upanishad symbol tower has connected to my co-soul. I will never discard my soul. Shiryen shook his head. Chapter 1453, The Space Cross / Chapter 1453, The Space Cross / Emperor Sea Shark coldly looked at the two inside the light cage with disdain on his face. Shiryen was at first sky of immortal realm, so he wasn't worth considering. He didn't think Shiryen was important. If Meiji wasn't here, he was going to kill Shiryen directly to take the Power Upanishad symbol tower without negotiating. Meiji was an expert at the peak of immortal realm. She was going to get the chance to enter the territory ancestor realm later. Also, she belonged to the high echelon in the Phantom Clan. Emperor Sea Shark didn't want to be Neptune's dagger and be under the wrath of the Phantom Clan. If he killed Shiryen and Meiji was left alive, Meiji was going to take revenge for Shiryen when she entered the territory ancestor realm and became the top powerful character of the Phantom Clan. It was still troublesome to him. He wasn't a member of the 7 great clans, so he didn't have a strong background. He knew that he couldn't stand against any of the 7 clans. He had to consider every aspect before he did something. Time is up. What's your decision? Emperor Sea Shark arched his brows, walking out of the glass palace and striding toward the others. We aren't satisfied with giving the Power Upanishad symbol tower without fighting, Meiji smiled charmingly. You're a forerunner. You should convince us, right? Okay, give us a chance to resist. If we don't see hope, we will agree with your terms as you wish. Emperor Sea Shark was surprised. Meiji, you're the manager of the Phantom Clan in the Sea of Annihilation. You should know that even if you're at the peak of immortal realm, you're no match against me. Is it necessary to try? This little devil of mine wants to try. Meiji didn't conceal her relationship with Shiryen. Her jade hands squeezed Shiryen's arm, her face agitated. Precursor, please fulfill our wish. At this moment, Emperor Sea Shark finally observed Shiryen. At first glance, he sneered. First sky of immortal realm? Haha, many of my grandchildren and subordinators are at that realm. He turned around and looked at a young man. Dadak, go and make him lose hope. That young man was around 3 meters tall and cultivating metal power. He was like a sharp sword at second sky of immortal realm. With silver scales on his body, he was likely from Flood Dragon tribe. His rigid body shot out sharp energy. Try not to kill anyone. We don't want to enrage Emperor Sea Shark. That's how you spare us a way out, muttered Meiji. You should consider it. If your real competence can resist the peak of Immortal Realm experts, when you and I join hands, maybe we can get rid of Emperor Sea Shark. Think about it. Yan's facial expression was like rigid ice. He was stern and cold. He nodded and stepped on the starlight toward Daduk. He had his plan. If he could resist attacks from a peak of Immortal Realm, he would use all of his energy to use space power Upanishad to disturb the spatial order on the seabed to force a way out. And the premise was that his body could endure the space energy backfire. The seabed wasn't similar to the open air up there. He was so deep under the sea of annihilation that he didn't know how far he was from the surface. The water pressure here was extreme. Once he urged the space power recklessly, the water pressure and the space energy was going to press on each other and break the space. As he was the originator, he would bear the backfire. Because of this concern, he was careful enough to not use spatial abilities while moving under the sea. Minghao was at the peak of Immortal Realm, and he had mastered space power Upanishad. However, he didn't try to do that as he knew how dangerous the backfire would be when the two intimidating forces collided. However, he was cornered. If he wanted to get rid of Emperor Sea Shark, he had to take a risky battle. He had to use extraordinary tricks to gain the victory. He couldn't calculate the fatal results on the seabed when the water pressure and the space energy made an impact. Anyway, he had to ensure that his body didn't get shattered under the backfire before he could try. Fighting was just a stone to test the knife. He wanted to check his body and his knife to see if it could endure the furious damage. Madame Meiji is the best dream of all men in the Sea of Annihilation. Why did she want to be with such a useless, pretty-faced young man like him? I don't see anything good in this fella. Meiji has made Batum and Hussein infatuated. They had proactively approached the Phantom clan to establish a good relationship. It's unexpected that she would choose a kid at first sky of Immortal Realm. It's eye-widening, really. Yeah, I can't believe it. We can see something from this battle, perhaps. Some old men at third sky of Immortal Realm by Emperor Sea Shark were stroking their beard and discussing curiously. I am Daduk from the Flood Dragon tribe, cultivating metal power Upanishad. Daduk was polite and gentle. Seeing Shiryen walk to him, he told him his identity and status. Shiryen. After a grunt, Shiryen had starlight twirl around his body as if many meteors from the sky had come to him. His entire body was now beautiful starlight that headed toward Daduk. Daduk furrowed his brows and snorted, really ignorant and rude. Bright metal light shot out from the crown of his head. Inside the shining gold halo, so many metal weapons emerged in his incipient extent, including sabers, swords, tridents, lances, hammers, shuttles, and needles. Those sharp weapons made a downpour and covered Shiryan's starlight. Crack! Bang! Bang! The clanging and clinking sounds of metal objects impacting arose on Shiryan's body. Sparks were sent everywhere. The power of metal in countless blades was still very sharp. The meteor and Shiryan's transformation halted 10 meters in front of Daduk. Everybody focused on him. They saw hundreds of blades attacking him. His body was like the toughest rock. His clothes were cut through, but his skin resisted the sharp blades as they made clang sounds. But he wasn't gashed. The pointy spikes jutted out from his shoulders, knees, and elbows. A pair of bone wings tore his back and unfolded. His energy surged like a sea of vitality. He was like a volcano that had been sleeping for billions of years and now burst all of its light and heat in just a blink of an eye. Cross-slash. Shiryan's eyes became crimson like blood. The brutal energy moved inside his body. He grinned and then shouted. The space power Upanishad was urged. The two massive space sabers around 100 meters long aligned and made a massive cross. The shining blades adjoined and cut the seawater into blocks, shooting toward Daduk. The sharp sabers, knives, hammers, and gold lances were crushed into powder in just a blink of an eye. The massive cross sabers could cut everything as easily as they broke dry tree branches. The seawater, space, and bubbles all tore. The sabers were so sharp that it could even cut the mountain or part the sea and run directly to Daduk. Emperor Sea Shark was amazed. He opened his mouth to spurt out a rapid water current. The water current shot and congregated in front of the massive space saber. Then, The water current dispersed altogether with space energy of the cross/. Tui. Shurian's chest pounded. A trickle of blood oozed down the corner of his mouth. His eyes were still blood-red, his mind shaken. When the space cross/ emerged, the space tore and created a space slit. As soon as that slit appeared, the terrifying water pressure furiously deluged and created 1,000 mountain-weight backfire on Shurian. His entire body ached and he got cut a few times. However, Emperor Sea Shark's water current had dissolved Dadek's dangerous situation and mended Shurian's space slits in just a blink of an eye. Shurian was frightened. You shouldn't use space power on the seabed rashly. Emperor Sea Shark frowned. He looked at Shurian in surprise and then waved his hand. Dadek, back off. You're not his equal match. Although this kid has only first sky of Immortal Realm, he has seen dark energy. His body integrity is so strong that even I can't see through. Tribal oldie, hissed Dadek. Back off. Emperor Sea Shark retorted. Dadek didn't say more. He looked unwilling when he returned to the Crystal Palace. Hu Jiao, cried Emperor Sea Shark. Many warriors of the Sea Clan were astounded when they heard their leader shouting. They switched their looks to Shurian. It was just a kid at first sky of Immortal Realm. Why did tribal oldie respect his power so much and have someone very strong like Sir Hu Jiao deal with him? An old man with a face full of down walked out from behind him, his hands hiding in his sleeves. The old man squinted. He walked toward Shurian and bent slightly to greet him. Hu Jiao, third sky of Immortal Realm, cultivating wood power Upanishad. No wonder why Meiji has chosen you, Emperor Sea Shark nodded. He looked as if he had just recognized something. You have dark energy at first sky of Immortal Realm. Your quenched body also surprises me. Kid, your future is brightly unpredictable. Allow me to remind you. Do not use the space energy to fight Hu Jiao. You know how the space energy will impact against the water pressure here and end up backfiring. He turned to Hu Jiao, pondered, and then asked, Don't attack him brutally. If he survives this time, he will become a top warrior. Hu Jiao nodded respectfully. I understand. He touched his forehead. A small sprout shot out of his labella. Shortly after, it thrived into a small tree. That small tree's branches reached out and crawled on Hu Jiao entirely. They looked like a strange tattoo expanding. Dozens of seconds later, Hu Jiao disappeared. A big tree grew at his spot. The tree was lush with thick leaves and branches. The tree shook and many leaves fell. Those leaves were just as big as a palm with many magical, complicated lines. They carried the essence of a deadly formation of wood power Upanishad. They floated in the water and headed toward Shurian. A leaf came and touched Shurian's shoulder. Pain flooded his brain instantly. Boop! A bone spike on his shoulder broke. He couldn't help but look at the growing tree. Third sky of Immortal Realm is really fierce. You can still talk. It's amazing, though. You're 2 realms lower than me. It's a miracle that you can stand still. Hu Jiao's voice arose from the big tree. Future territory ancestor, I want to see the supernatural power of dark energy. Please show me. Chapter 1454. Bloodshed on the Seabed. Chapter 1454. Bloodshed on the Seabed. Underscore the giant tree that could tower the entire sky with thick leaves and branches was still thriving amazingly. Gradually, the tree had become more imposing than Emperor Sea Shark's glass palace behind. At first glance, it seemed like this world had only that tree and this sea area was concealed. While the giant tree rattled, green leaves flew away. The complicated and subtle wooden texture on the palm-sized leaves looked like a mysterious formation. The leaves flew like a school of swimming fish that slowly approached with sharp, tearing auras. Shurian's skin sent a faint pain to his brain. Boop! Another spike on his shoulder exploded. Pain deluged him. Shurian shivered and couldn't help but roar furiously. Bands of rainbow-like starlight flashed and congregated at Shurian's body. He looked like he had so many chains coil him. The garment on his upper body shattered. His tough body that was as rigid as gold or steel emerged. Boom, 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 boom. Leaves exploded around his body. So many spectacular formations in a wooden texture shown. They merged with each other magically. Shortly after, a massive formation was formed by the leaves. Vines grew from the formation like slithering snakes. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The vines were covered with sharp thorns that whipped like flood dragons. They rose the water and shot toward Shurian's shoulder. Boom! Starlight sparked on his body. After one hit of the vines in the seething water, the starlight protection on his body dimmed. Hu Jiao's voice came from the big tree. Give us the power Upanishad symbol tower and the absolute beginning original symbol. Although you know dark energy, your realm is not great enough to use it. You're not my equal opponent. The sky-towering tree wiggled strangely on the seabed. Thousands of branches swayed and countless leaves rattled and fell. They looked like so many spirits bombarding Shurian. More leaves exploded. The formation emerged once more. Evil, python-like vines whipped and lashed Shurian. Boom, boom, boom. Vines slashed. Shurian was like a willow catkin wobbling in the sea. His body was gory as the spikes on his shoulders, elbows, and knees broke continuously. His appearance was really pathetic. Shurian, if you can't help it, just yield. You're at first sky of Immortal Realm only. It's good enough that you defeated Dadak. You shouldn't force yourself. Meiji felt her heart aching. She couldn't help but cry, her bright eyes sorrowful. Tribal oldie, we have to treat this man probably, said an old man at peak of Immortal Realm. He was hiding inside a massive shell behind Emperor Sea Shark, his voice deep and low. He looked so worried. After getting Emperor Sea Shark's attention, he continued in a low-pitched voice. His body isn't breaking under Hu Jia's shelling. He has dark energy. If he doesn't die this time, he will enter the Territory Ancestor realm in the future. Then, he will become a hero. Emperor Sea Shark knitted his brows. Continue. As we seize the power Upanishad symbol tower and the absolute beginning original symbol today, he will bear a grudge against us. With his innate talents and capacity, he will be very intimidating later, even without the absolute beginning original symbol. The old man looked stern and cautious. If we let him leave alive, isn't that no different from letting a tiger back to the woods? We shouldn't plant a scary seed, right? If Shurian had a normal realm with an ordinary capacity, this old man would never have suggested such a thing. If he was just a small warrior without the chance to break through to the Territory Ancestor realm in the future, even if they let him go, he wouldn't be able to threaten them. However, Shurian's talented performance made him worried. This is a savage cub that can become an extraordinary brutal beast. If we want to take the power Upanishad symbol tower, I suggest to do it resolutely. We would rather offend the Phantom Clan than let him live now. We should eliminate any possibility of a potentially devastating threat. The old man concluded. Emperor Sea Shark kept silent. Tribal oldie, asked the other. I know that. Just keep watching him. I don't know why I see someone in him, Emperor Sea Shark said indifferently. The old man hiding in the shell focused on Shurian when he heard Emperor Sea Shark say that. At first, he was bewildered. After a while, he jolted as if he had just recalled something. His eyes brightened as if he had just found a new continent, his shell quivering. I found the similar features after you said that, sir. That look, aura, and his bearings, yeah, they're really similar, cried the old man. Keep watching. Emperor Sea Shark reminded him. The old man looked thrilled. He was excited as he nodded continuously and said nothing else. He was close to Emperor Sea Shark, and he was also a famous character of the Sea Clan. He could even call Emperor Sea Shark brother. Thus, the others couldn't understand their conversation. But Meiji understood him. She was a wise woman, and she knew the old man hiding in the shell. She saw him pull himself together, his eyes stern and cold. Meiji was sensitive enough to recognize the wrong situation. She could see that old man instigate the other. She became edgy because she knew the chaos that Shurian could create when he showed his astonishing capacity. She was anxious when she saw Shurian with many wounds. Her soul flickered restlessly as she was trying to find a solution. A lightning ball hovered in the sea water not far from them. It flashed like an eye. In fact, it was an eye. If someone could observe the sea area entirely, they would find a skull-sized lightning ball like that after every 100 miles. Many warriors from different forces had to bend their bodies and retreat when they saw the lightning balls. Before leaving, they would reveal their identities to the lightning balls too. It was because they knew that those lightning balls were Farrell's lightning eyes. They knew that Farrell could use those lightning balls to observe the situation everywhere. The balls would report the commotions to his soul in the sea of consciousness. At this moment, a lightning ball hovered in this area for a long time, slowly transmitting a wisp of an aura of the battle between Hu Jiao and Shiryan. In a corner on the seabed, Farrell was sitting cross-legged on the back of a massive sea turtle. He opened his eyes all of a sudden, his face changed. He mumbled to himself. Hu Jiao's aura, a subordinate of Emperor Sea Shark. He sensed for a while. Then, the lightning ball that had just reported to him began to spin and move sneakily towards Emperor Sea Shark's crystal palace. Rumble! Rumble! The 100-meter-long vines that were like snake tails lashed at Shiryan's body. His body rumbled like a drumbeat with waves of explosions. After each explosion, his skin cracked and bled. Those cuts were so deep to the bone that people could vaguely see his veins and bones. Meiji's eyes were watery. She couldn't stay patient anymore as she screamed, "Give them the power Upanishad symbol tower. Don't fight foolishly like that. Your two realms are too far apart. You're not his match." Emperor Sea Shark and the members of the Sea Clan watched everything with cold faces. They stood inside the Crystal Palace and stopped talking. The entire sea was silent. Each of the members of the Sea Clan, including Daduk and the old man inside the shell, were convinced and respectful. They admired and appraised Shiryan for his tough will. The first sky of Immortal Realm fought against the third sky of Immortal Realm. This kind of battle happened twice in the long history of the sea domain of Nihility, where a lower realm warrior triumphed. One had used an absolute beginning divine weapon, and the other had seized the chance when the third sky of Immortal Realm expert was breaking through to the next level to ambush. He had shattered his body and used his soul altar to succeed. Afterward, his soul altar slowly cracked. He died after 100 days. Thus, the members of the Sea Clan and Meiji thought that regardless of his dark energy and his tough body, he didn't have a chance to win. They just wanted to know how long Shiryan could endure. What Shiryan had done was apparently out of their expectations. They were both surprised and worried that Shiryan could resist until now because his body was about to collapse. Your persistence doesn't make any sense. You know you will fail, but you are still stubborn. It's not a wise move, you know. Hu Jiao's voice was low and cold. His towering tree was above Shiryan's head. Although the others couldn't see him anywhere, his aura had filled each corner of this sea area. In the shade of the tree, Shiryan's body was filled with cuts and gashes. Magically, no drop of blood shredded. The bands of starlight twirling tried to prevent his wounds from getting worse. However, they weren't enough to protect his body. After a vine whipped him, the starlight exploded and a deep cut appeared on Shiryan's body. Meiji's crying and Hu Jiao's cold mocking sounded continuously. Shiryan balled his body like a wild beast facing death. He lifted his head and looked at the tree above. Blood streamed from his neck to his chest. A blood sword emerged in his palm. As soon as the blood sword appeared, he thrust it into his abdomen as if he had completely lost his mind. People didn't even see what had happened. As the others were horror-struck and extremely ruthless, exploding aura burst out from the bloody sword planted in his stomach. He slowly pulled the bloody sword. The eyes on the sword opened. They were as eccentric and brutal as his own eyes at this moment. He looked at Meiji from a distance and sounded strangely calm. "I've been enduring for a long time, and I just got some deep cuts and broken veins. No bone got cracked. Now, I know that my body can endure the backfire. We have a chance of succeeding." Chapter 1455, Fierce Outbreak. Chapter 1455, Fierce Outbreak. Underscore Hu Jiao was really strong. He had gained the upper hand right from the start and was very overwhelming. Until this moment, Hu Jiao hadn't played everything he had yet. He didn't use his maximum power. But it couldn't say that Shuryen was too weak. Shuryen had only used star power in his defensive mode. He hadn't struck once. Actually, he was testing the toughness of his body. And he found his result now. With the best defensive tricks he could cast, he could resist at least 70% of the attacks of a third sky of Immortal Realm expert. His body wouldn't shatter. It was enough. When he drew the gory sword out of his abdomen and the bizarre eyes on the sword opened, he found his target. He was going to ignore this entangling battle and use the sharp space energy to tear the space. Seizing the chance when the space in the seabed was going to explode, they were going to run for their lives. This plan was clear and logical. Shuryen understood that even if he used all of his power, he could only battle Hu Jiao. Also, there were at least 3 Sea Clan experts at the third sky of Immortal Realm besides Hu Jiao here. The old man hiding in the seashell was at the peak of Immortal Realm. And Emperor Sea Shark. Winning was just a fantasy story to them. Breaking this besiege was the best choice. He brought the bloody sword, and the brutal, bloody aura of the sword was extremely thick. The others didn't know what he was thinking, but Meiji understood it right away. She looked at Shuryen and his bleeding body, her face upset. "Do you really want to try?" "I'm about 30% sure," said Shuryen. "All right," Meiji hissed. A massive snow lotus was conjured from her peak-like bosom by her soul energy. The snow lotus carried a cold light. It froze the ice on its way and created a glacier that shot towards Emperor Sea Shark. The pod of the lotus carried her soul energy. The snow lotus sparkled. When it was about to reach Emperor Sea Shark, it became partly visible and flashed. What a powerful cold energy. It's dark energy. Meiji finally has dark energy. The Phantom Clan is about to get another territory ancestor. So many members of the Sea Clan couldn't help but scream in astonishment. Almost at the same time, Emperor Sea Shark's eyes brightened. The old man in the seashell behind him was also shaken. His shell shook strangely. But they didn't look at Meiji. Although Meiji's ice lotus was about to touch the Crystal Palace, while the others were watching her and apprising her dark energy, Emperor Sea Shark and the old man were still looking at Shuryen in astonishment. They were watching Shuryen. At this moment, Shuryen had drawn a gory sword out of his body. A blood light slowly congregated at the tip of the sword. His thoughts changed and his aura changed accordingly and earth-shakingly. The isolated, cold aura of death filled the place. The bloody sword was now the scythe of death that harvested all the thick vitality around him. Strangely, the vines began to wither and dry as if the nutrients inside was taken away. It was the striking combined power of the death and devouring power Upanishad. Dozens of vines still had Shuryen's blood after slashing him for a while. At this moment, they were like snakes that didn't have flesh and blood, but unnatural dry skin. Hu Jiao suddenly screeched. The giant tree shook hard. So many leaves shot out like hard sleet. All bombarded Shuryen. Shuryen brought the blood sword, blood trickling down the corners of his eyes. He grinned fiendishly. "Hu Jiao, actually, if I do my best to battle against you, I'm not so certain that I will lose." Then, a surging, tremendous vitality that could shake people's souls grumblingly burst out from his body. At this moment, a magical light suddenly emitted from Shuryen. His surroundings were cold and isolated. The blood sword had the thick taste of death as the king of hell that could bring all creatures into hell of despair. However, the vitality on him was strangely surging. The two opposite power Upanishads were showcasing on him at the same time. His god body was full of cuts. As people were gazing at him, his wounds were healing at a speed that naked eyes could observe. His veins and flesh fibers twitched. The wounds closed fast. Drops of blood on the cuts seemed to have life as they moved back into his body. The broken spikes on his shoulders, elbows, and knees regrew. They looked even sharper and sparkling in a cold light. Boom, boom. The absolute beginning original symbol was throbbing powerfully like a second heart at the center of the sphere. It represented the life power Upanishad in the tier of power Upanishads in his soul altar. It released ripples of formidable life energy, which healed him faster than he could imagine. After dozens of seconds, all the cuts on his body disappeared. His naked torso was filled with exploding energy. So many blood-dripping eyes on the sword opened. An endless, ruthless, and desperate aura layered and created a sea of blood that swarmed toward every sea of consciousness. Everybody turned to Shiryen. A space of blood red struck their eyes. They seemed to see the devils of despair, savage, resentment, and fear. The blood sword swung around and tried to tear the space to create a river of space under the sea, which Shiryen could use to escape this area. The Sea Clan warriors discolored in fear. They were panic-stricken because of Shiryen's sudden outbreak. Yeah, that's it. Emperor Sea's shark eyes squinted to a thread. Strange, divine light sparkled in his eyes. He didn't even look at Meiji when he raised his hand to grab the void. The ice lotus that Meiji created was covered by the sea water. The frozen sea area resumed at the same moment. This is my sea area and my territory. I'm cultivating water power Upanishad. In this place, let alone the fact that you haven't reached the territory ancestor realm yet, even if you are a territory ancestor, do you really think you can defeat me under the sea? Emperor Sea's shark spoke indifferently, his eyes gazing at Shiryen strangely. Crack! Crack! The tip of the blood sword shot a beam of blood with the sharpness of space energy, attempting to tear the water. The keen aura frightened the experts around. They instinctively avoided it. Hu Jiao's tree branches were cut off and he cried in pain. No need to leave. Emperor Sea's shark approached Shiryen as he looked into his blood eyes and shook his head. Don't continue. If you use space energy rashly, the water pressure will hurt you badly. Getting hurt badly is still better than dying here, Shiryen grinned. If I'm not frantic today, I'm sure I will bury my body here. I don't have a choice. Even if I have to stir up the entire Sea of Annihilation seabed and make the space collapse, I have to get out of here. Get out. All of a sudden, a cold voice arose from a far distance. After a flash, Feral appeared and stood by Emperor Sea Shark. Under my gaze, how will you get out of here? He turned and smiled to Emperor Sea Shark. I've agreed with the ancient monster clan to take this kid's life. After I kill him, we will talk about how to share the power Upanishad symbol tower and the absolute beginning original symbol. What do you think? Emperor Sea Shark had a vague light in his eyes. He frowned but didn't answer. Feral grinned and said to Meiji, you must know that the main island of the Phantom Clan in the Sea of Annihilation was destroyed. I massacred them all. You and this kid have killed many people who you shouldn't have killed. The Phantom Clan can't protect you. Meiji was filled with indignance. Feral, as long as I am alive, one day, I will tear your soul atlas myself. Oh yeah, shrugged Feral. Well, I have no choice then. You have dark energy. To prevent such an unexpected incident, I will have to kill you too. The Phantom Clan won't have another territory ancestor then. He smiled and turned to Emperor Sea Shark next to him. I'll take responsibility for killing Meiji. I know you're not like me. You don't cultivate alone. You have your own concerns. It will tie your hands a little bit. Just leave it to me. I will shoulder the wrath of the Phantom Clan. As soon as Feral had arrived, he controlled the situation, which made the crowd of the Sea Clan angry. As they were all experts at the territory ancestor realm, he used to contact to Emperor Sea Shark on the seabed. They could be deemed rivals. However, they hadn't had a real battle yet since they all had their own concerns. Today, as they had the same target, Feral thought that Emperor Sea Shark wouldn't interfere with his deeds here. I can't swallow the power Upanishad symbol tower and the absolute beginning original symbol. You can't, either. We need to wait for others to decide. Feral smiled. He didn't consider anybody's ideas. All right, you've tried really hard here already. I'll take care of it from here. Then, he walked to Shiryen and spoke deliberately. Kid, you have a short life, though. As you've offended a lot of people in the Sea of Annihilation, no one can protect you. Accept your fate. As Shiryen saw Feral, his face changed dramatically into a desperate one. He had only a 30% chance to run with only Emperor Sea Shark. With Feral here, he had no hope. Seeing Feral intend to kill both him and Meiji, he didn't need to know if it was possible or not. He had to try everything he can. He had to see if he could tear the space here. In a desperate situation, he had to keep his hope and his spirit. He had to try with his life. Crack! 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 The blood light shot out and parted the sea water. A spacelet as big as the massive mouth of a giant beast vaguely opened. No, it's not okay. Emperor Sea Shark shook his head. A flood current wormed between Shiryen and Feral. A blue marine world appeared from thin air and filled that tiny crack until it mended. Emperor Sea Shark, I told you that you don't need to take action. Why would you waste your power like that? Feral felt funny. I can do it. Hey, you. Feral suddenly shouted. His abdomen was bleeding through a gash. So many strange, glowing water arrows stabbed him one more time. His chest was pierced through. So many lightning balls rolled out of his sleeves and barged into those water arrows. Shortly after, the entire sea area looked like doomsday. Formidable, lethal energies bloomed and exploded. Shiryen and Meiji were dumbstruck. The members of the Sea Clan were speechless as they looked at their Emperor Sea Shark bewilderedly. Only the old man hiding inside the shell looked normal. His shadow moved and he reappeared behind Feral. A fiery flaming fluid rolled out of his eyes and attached to Feral's waist. Join hands and attack Feral. Emperor Sea Shark shouted suddenly. The members of the Sea Clan didn't know the reason, but they responded to his call. Different energies and techniques bloomed and pounded on Feral. Emperor Sea Shark. What the heck are you doing? Do you want to take the Power Upanishad symbol tower and the Absolute Beginning original symbol for yourself? You think you can swallow them all? Thundered Feral. Shiryen, Meiji. You two run away right now. Do not stop. Change your route, shouted Emperor Sea Shark. Chapter 1456. It's the Will of Heaven. Chapter 1456. It's the Will of Heaven. Feral hovered in the deep sea. Many energy attacks, light curtains, ice mountains, and spikes bombarded him. Several thousand lightning balls spun around him frantically. The seabed was about to shatter. Billions of water arrows created a long, unceasing river as if it had always been covering Feral. Feral was struck and bewildered. He was so surprised as he didn't know why Emperor Sea Shark had suddenly burst out frantically. Until now, Emperor Sea Shark always had good senses. He rarely offended the members of the 7 clans. Also, he had restrained his warriors to not cause a conflict with the others. The Sea of Annihilation had 3 great territory ancestors, including Emperor Sea Shark, Feral, and Ricardo. Among them, Emperor Sea Shark was the most modest. He seldom came to the sea surface or started a grudge against the 7 clans. Many people thought that his modesty was a sign of weakness. Because the Emperor Sea Shark had always controlled his warriors, the experts in the Sea of Annihilation thought that he was weaker than Feral and Ricardo. After a long time, Feral also thought that Emperor Sea Shark didn't dare to face him directly. It was also the reason why he had acted wantonly as soon as he had arrived. He had arrogantly decided everything. He thought that he understood Emperor Sea Shark and that Emperor Sea Shark would agree with his suggestion to not offend the Phantom Clan. Thus, he proactively attacked Shiryen. He could never have estimated that Emperor Sea Shark, who was always moderate and often decided to yield, would suddenly act wild today. Emperor Sea Shark. Do you think you're strong enough to swallow the Power Upanishad symbol tower alone? Feral was certain that the Power Upanishad symbol tower was Emperor Sea Shark's target. He smirked. Let alone you, I know that I shouldn't dream about taking the Power Upanishad symbol tower when the 7 clans are watching. You shouldn't think about it. Emperor Sea Shark coldly floated. Behind him was a deep blue water world. Billions of water streams like everlasting, unceasing shooting arrows were bombarding Feral. Countless lightning balls exploded as Feral faced Emperor Sea Shark's attacks directly. He had to simultaneously deal with Emperor Sea Shark's powerful subordinates. He looked a little reckless, though. Why don't you leave? Hissed Emperor Sea Shark. Shiryen and Meiji were still puzzled as they watched by the edge of the battle. They watched the situation turn upside down in just a blink of an eye and felt so bewildered. What's going on? They didn't know why Emperor Sea Shark wanted to protect them because he had just tried to force them to hand over the Power Upanishad symbol tower and the Absolute Beginning original symbol 5 minutes ago. Emperor Sea Shark's attitude changed instantly. He had ambushed Feral. Shiryen and Meiji gawked in surprise. However, they thought that Emperor Sea Shark had some other purpose. Why? Meiji was perplexed. As far as I know, you don't have any friendship with the precursors in my Phantom Clan. The Phantom Clan? Emperor Sea Shark ridiculed. It has nothing to do with the Phantom Clan. Emperor Sea Shark looked at Shiryen, his visage complicated. Because of him. I haven't met you before. Today is the first time we met, right? Shiryen thought. He was sure that he had never met Emperor Sea Shark before. It was the first time they met. It's your first time meeting me. But your teacher, has he ever mentioned me to you? Emperor Sea Sharks had a faint sadness in his eyes as he mocked himself. Oh, right, with his bearings and vision, he wouldn't have thought that I mattered. But I think he hadn't expected me to reach Territory Ancestor Realm too. My teacher. Shiryen was startled. Your looks, your power Upanishads, and your aura tell me that you're his disciple, snorted Emperor Sea Shark. You mean bloodthirsty, don't you? Shiryen was shocked. Yeah, if not him, who else? Emperor Sea Shark smiled bitterly as if he didn't want to mention this character. Leave. I'll help you stop Feral. I'm going to give you a hand. Just consider that I have repaid what I've owed him. It's bloodthirsty again. Shiryen was shaken. He screamed inwardly, frowned, and said nothing. Meiji understood it. After she found that Emperor Sea Shark had turned his spear around because of Shiryen's teacher, she forced a smile and then said, Shall we join hands and kill Feral? Otherwise, after we leave, how can you deal with the wrath of the 5 clans? Shiryen turned to see Emperor Sea Shark. While Emperor Sea Shark was talking to them, the water curtain in the water territory behind him created tens of thousands of water barriers to drain and seal Feral together with his subordinates' attacks. Feral didn't have free hands to mess with them. I'm at the Territory Ancestor Realm anyway. It's not easy to attack me. Emperor Sea Shark wore an arrogant face. But if you stay, you can't threaten Feral because you don't know that Territory Ancestors aren't people you can fight. Thus, instead of staying here and then getting caught by the 5 clans later, you better leave now. Meiji quieted down. Shiryen pondered for a few seconds, gritted his teeth, and then said, We'll meet again. Then, he didn't wait for Meiji to say more. He pulled her hand and turned into a band of starlight, heading to Desolate Territory's entrance. He's worth being your apprentice. Emperor Sea Shark nodded and then pulled himself together. He said, We're going to join hands and delay Feral by keeping him here for 3 days. After that, you guys should scatter and live in your secret areas on this Sea of Annihilation seabed. Remember not to go to the sea surface. Tribal oldie. Tribal oldie. Tribal oldie. Why? The members of the Sea Clan in the Crystal Palace were panic-stricken. Feral and the Ancient Monster Clan have a close relationship. Neptune from the Soul Clan won't spare me if I let them leave now. The members of the other 3 clans will come to interrogate me too. I won't be able to live in peace. I will leave the Sea of Annihilation for a while. When I'm strong enough, I will be back. Emperor Sea Shark sighed. You are my subordinates. The 5 clans won't chase you. As long as you hide in the seabed, they won't have enough manpower to hunt you down. When I get strong enough to face the 5 clans, I will come find you and the Crystal Palace. Why? Tribal oldie, why do you have to help them? Hu Jiao emerged, his face puzzled and bitter. I owed a man my life. He helped me break through to Territory Ancestor Realm. Emperor Sea Shark chuckled. I've planned to stay on the seabed to help him find the absolute beginning vestige. Unexpectedly, his disciple had it. It's heaven's will. I should help his disciple solve the problem. With a solemn face, he hissed, Just do it. You guys will leave after 3 days. Stay in seclusion. From now on, you're not related to me, Emperor Sea Shark. I just need you to live well. Tribal oldie. Tribal oldie. Tribal oldie. Just do as I said. Do not say nonsense. Emperor Sea Shark shouted resolutely. Inside the water territory behind him, billions of water curtains had created a vast barrier and sealed Feral's lightning territory. The Sea Clan warriors weren't affected by the water curtains. They continuously attacked and bombarded Feral, troubling him. Time flew hurriedly. 3 days had passed as fast as a blink of an eye. The members of the Sea Clan were exhausted after 3 consecutive days of attacks. All of them were weakened to a particular level. As Emperor Sea Shark understood his subordinates well, he knew that they could resist for only 3 days. After 3 days, he pitched his voice. Hu Jiao, Dadak, you guys drive the Crystal Palace. The rest of you, scatter and hide in your secret areas in the Sea of Annihilation. You should also notify the others who don't know about this incident. Tribal Oldie. Tribal Oldie. Do not babble. I've made up my mind. Leave now. Many Sea Clan members looked sorrowful. They left as Emperor Sea Shark had told them. Hu Jiao and Dadak drove the Crystal Palace away. They had pledged to protect the Crystal Palace and wait until Emperor Sea Shark returned. Shortly after, only Emperor Sea Shark and the old man in the seashell were left in this area. Shenron, I want you to leave with them. At this moment, Emperor Sea Shark didn't attack Feral more. But still, Feral was trapped in many layers of water. He was using his lightning power to attack the water layers and get rid of it. The others don't know this, but I'm sure you know. Fighting on the seabed, Feral and Ricardo aren't my equal opponent. I live here and I cultivate water power Upanishad. This sea area is my natural support. The Sea Clan old man inside the seashell just cackled. Of course, I know that. If you want to fight, and if you're combative, Feral and Ricardo should have been defeated. I also know that after I leave, Feral won't be your rival. But what if Neptune and Ricardo all come here? Emperor Sea Shark's eyes were serene. You've not reached the territory ancestor realm yet. Even if you stay, you can't help me. I'm staying to remind you of when to leave. I know that even if Neptune and Ricardo come, if you want to leave, you can leave at any minute. I'm just afraid that you'll pretend to be a fool again, said Shenron. You've been accompanying me for years. You should know that I'm not who I used to be. I was hot-tempered like thunder. I liked slaughtering without reasoning. I didn't know what surrendering meant. But now, I'm patient and subtle. I've changed my stinky habits. I know life is more important than reputation. I know when to run away, smiled Emperor Sea Shark. Even so, I have to see you leave, Shenron was persistent. Emperor Sea Shark was surprised. Pondering for a while, he nodded begrudgingly, his eyes upset. He must be gone. When he returned, he told us that if we see his successor, it meant that he had already gone. I can't believe that a character like him is dead now. You've reached a high realm. Of course, he has his place to return to. When we met him in the sea that year, we were just at incipient god realm. Sigh, we were useless. We've been looking for so many years on the seabed and we got nothing. It's amazing that his disciple got them all, sighed Shenron. It's the will of heaven, said Emperor Sea Shark calmly. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.